What is going on, everybody? Welcome on in. We are back with another week's episode of The Break. And today, right up above me, as you can see, we have our special guest, Mr. Tyson, aka Faithfully Bearded. So, Tyson, to start off, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, I have my two lovely co hosts, the red bearded, beautiful man himself, Tevin, aka Purposely Bearded. And that is going to change here soon. So, that is why you see insert new name here. And of course, Matt, the sports beard, the Patriots loving fool. And of course, myself, the well done steak connoisseur, Devin, aka Beard Code. But let's go ahead and get everything kicked off with some introductions. So if everybody wants to introduce themselves and say hello to the beautiful people out there.
I nominate Matt.
All right, what it do, what it is. What's good, YouTube? Welcome to The Break. We got our buddy Tyson in here today. It should be pretty exciting. I love talking to Tyson. This guy right here, I'm excited to see his new content. You guys should be too. And then we got the young one over here. So I'm pretty excited to do this stream, and it's going to be fun, guys. So let's go. I guess we'll go Tevin next since Tyson left.
Well, you're supposed to introduce yourself, not everybody else.
I wanted to throw a spin on it today.
Well, you sent me.
I like it. Change it
up. Figured I have a good laugh this afternoon.
Who are you, other than the person that just confused all three of us?
I'm having fun today. I'm Matt, the sports beard, guys. We're gonna have a good stream tonight, and we're gonna get into some fun things, and hopefully, it'll be enjoyable for everyone. I'm definitely excited for this one.
Okay, good. Now I'm gonna go after that mind buster that you just sent me into.
I love it.
What's up, guys? It's your boy. Well, I guess I can't call myself Purpose anymore. My name is Tevin, and I am that new channel that's going to be announced on August 15th. You can call me Purposely Bearded for now, but you can just call me Tevin as well. I'm excited as well. I mean, Tyson, the first person that I ever reached out to when I wanted to start a channel was Tyson. He helped me out a long way, and I'm sure Tyson has helped plenty of people out, but I'm excited to hear Tyson's testimony, ideas about content creating, some tips, whatever questions that you guys have tonight. Throw them in the comments. We'll try to answer them. We're just here to have fun, and that's just a little bit about me.
Yep. Does that leave it to me then?
No, I mean, Devin hasn't gone, has he?
Well, What's up, everybody? Devin, I'm the well done steak, brother, and
I could have said it any better myself. I love it. Yeah. My name is I'm Devin, guys. You guys most will know me as the well done steak guy, or the Broncos fan, or the Lakers fan, or Beard Code, whichever one you want to consider that one.
I'll call you Code because all of them are garbage.
I mean, Beard
Look,
Code,
whatever floats your boat. You're a Raiders fan.
Oh, we're on fire tonight.
Yeah, I love
what stream is this?
Time, but right,
this is
just a roast section on Comedy Central.
Comedy Central. All right, so we got a little bit of Devin. He's the well done steak baby of the community. Blah 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 blah. So next to us, if you don't know who that is, and I'm pretty sure most of us that are in the stream currently know who this is, Tyson. I mean, I would consider you one of the big people in the community as far as, reviewers go. But, I mean, obviously, you're Faithfully Bearded. But can you tell us who Tyson Wald is other than Faithfully Bearded?
Hey, everybody. What it is, what it do. Well done steak. YouTube, how you doing? Purpose. Wait, I'm not Purpose anymore. I am to not try to mention YouTube or content creation. I am a hardworking single father, religious, God-centered, dependable, boring, punctual, repetitive, routine-oriented man.
So you consider yourself boring and repetitive? What are you repetitive at? I'm kind of curious.
Oh, my daily routine. And it's like the alarm goes off, you hit snooze twice, you get out of bed, you stretch, you make your bed, you scratch on the way to the bathroom. And, then it's like you grab your phone off the sink, you sit down to do your business, you check what you missed, you check up what YouTube videos launched because I'm in Mountain Time Zone. So most likely somebody on the East Coast has launched a YouTube video. So you watch those. You hope you don't drop your phone in the toilet while you're doing that. You try to pick which hand you're going to hold your phone in so you can wipe. I mean, it's like the same thing, and hope. Like, it's a good day. It's a good day if Aubrey doesn't come knocking before I wipe. You know, so. But I mean, yeah, just routine, like same time every day. You just happen to catch that clock and you're like, oh, it's 8:30 and I haven't poured my second mug of coffee yet. I better get on it.
I don't know if any of you are seeing this, but I'm about to cry. I'm trying to hold back my laugh right now. Tyson, are you in rare form tonight?
I see, you know, my personality is it's to quote Forrest Gump, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get, because I can pull this out. Like, this is me. Like, when I'm around some dudes that I'm comfortable with and that I enjoy. But then I can also pull on the, like, we're business. You know, like, put the glasses on, take the hat off, put the hair up in the man bun. It's all business. Dang it! Now my ponytail fell out of my hat. Now
Don't you hate when that happens?
No, so
I mean, I don't have that experience, but yeah, sure.
I think we, like, as to, you know, it didn't take me long to get back into content creation. I think as a single father, as a corporate employee, as a content creator, we spend so much time trying to be professional and an adult and real. I mean, I spend all day doing that, and then I have to do that with Aubrey and doctors when it comes to her and myself. And then on YouTube, it's like, you know, there's a fine line, because it's like you want to be goofy and silly and have your personality come out, but you also want to be professional, because if I say something, like, I literally have to tell people, like, I have a dry sense of humor and I don't smile or laugh very often, because, like, you guys know it by now and you can probably pick up on most of my jokes. But for somebody that just found my channel for the first time or sees me on a live stream for the first time, like, all they see is this rhinoceros, this hippo chowing nachos down, talking crap to a Brazilian girl. You know, like, they don't know that it's all just fun. So, but that's like my big goal in life is, I mean, it's not like my big goal, but it's one of my goals in life with my personality is to, like, when I get done talking to somebody and then I just sit there and I'm, like, done talking, like, for them to question, like, is he serious or was he joking? Like, I'm not 100% sure. Like, I want him to think about that for a little bit, because that leaves an impression of, like, I wasn't sure if I think he was serious, but I'm not 100% sure if he is serious. And then you can throw jokes around and seriousness around, and, like, you know, my mom can call me up and be like, what you doing? Oh, you know, just smoking weed, drinking beers, and, you know, and she knows I'm joking, but literally, if I was really doing that and I said that, like, I wouldn't be lying, and she would just think I'm joking, you know? I've never done that. Uh-oh.
What happened?
Uh-oh.
I mean, we hear you.
Right?
Yeah, I hear you.
That dog scared my camera black. Do you hear that dog?
Yeah, that's my stupid dog.
All right. My camera decided to shut itself off. Did I not plug it in? I might not have plugged it in.
Is there a bark command on it? Bark once, it turns on, bark off.
Bark command.
I mean, I know you're very particular about. Yeah, I see you. I saw two of you, but I saw you. Now I see you. No, I don't. I see a chair.
There we go.
What kind of show is this?
What kind of show are we running here? Comedy Central?
Hey, listen, I'm having a good time. I think this is the most I've seen you joke. But then again, you did say that you always throw out jokes, but you never, like, who knows if you're actually joking or not?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you don't.
All right, so can you tell us why you started Faithfully Bearded? Like, I mean, I went all the way back and watched your first video on your introduction. It was weird seeing you. Not, I mean, you have progressed so much in just a year alone. You've only been at this a little over a year, and to see you go from you know phone style kind of review, it was like what, like 5 or 6 minutes to, it's just a different transformation. I know we all have transformed from our first video, But can you tell us why, you started Faithfully Bearded?
Yeah, because I grew a beard and I was using beard products. I mean, that's the real reason. So, I mean, my beard journey was very, very fast. I started growing a beard in November. I mean, I've always like worn some sort of facial fur, but it was always like short, 5 o'clock shadow. I was like button up shirt, tie, and slacks and dress shoes, polishing my shoes every morning. Like I worked in corporate, and so I always just like I didn't like to be bare butt face, So I always had like a 5 o'clock shadow, but I mean it was like every 3 days you were trimming that thing down with the clippers and taking the razor to the unibrow and all that stuff, And November of 18, as No Shave November, I'm like I'm gonna get away with this, and then I did have a chin strap for a long time in my early 20s. I was like, I'm gonna grow a beard I have a picture of it where, like I was like 300 pounds.
You were 300 pounds?
230, but it looked like 300 on me because I'm only 5'8", so it looked gigantic. But so I was like, I'm gonna do this No Shave November thing. So for Christmas, my wife at the time got me just a stupid beard kit off of Amazon, and you get it and you're just like, oh, this is garbage, and like Aubrey chores right off the bat is just like, this sucks. It was like lemon or something, but you wear it and you're just like, oh cool, it kind of took the itch away. And it was one of those kits that's like, what am I gonna do with this piece of wood that looks like a comb but like ow, And so I threw that away. And then it came with like this tin, and I was like, what is a balm? Like, what do you use a balm for, And so I started like Googling like, better beard products. Like, and I think the first like company I came across probably was Beard Brand. It was Beard Brand or Live Bearded. Like the first one that I came across. And I kind of looked and I'm just like, holy cannoli, this is expensive stuff. So it must have been Beard Brand. And I was like, this is like super expensive. I got to like Google more. And I actually bought Beard Brand and spent like $200 and some at Beard Brand for like my first purchase because I was like, I thought that was kind of normal.
Did Tyson freeze? Oh, come on. Not tonight.
Oh no.
We've lost Tyson.
I about froze too after he said $200 at Beard Brand.
That's pretty much your.
Oh snap! Yeah, am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You're lagging a little bit, but you're back.
Yeah.
We just have a storm rolling in, so hopefully it doesn't knock me out again.
Does it include hail?
As soon as it froze up and Kevin's eyes were all blown up, I'm like, is Kevin frozen or is he still just holding that face in?
I'm going to do that from now on, just to make you question.
Oh, I can't hold still. I'm trying. Yeah, so I spent a lot of money at Beard Brand. And then while I was waiting for it to come in the mail and stuff, I ran across Scuba. And I think like one of the very first videos I ran across Scuba on was like the 5 reasons I hate having a beard or something like that. And he had a girl in the video with him and he was just like eating all nasty. And I'm like, this dude's hilarious, So I kind of like binged watched his channel, ran across like beard jelly. So I ordered Boss Man and like you start with like those companies. It just seems like how everybody kind of starts. And from there I found like Dan Scott and Matt and was just kind of watching their stuff. And I mean at that time I was just like buying because I was like taking recommendations from like Scuba, Matt, and Dan, and every time I got one I was like, dude, this sucks, like it stinks so bad, like why would you want to wear this on your face, like what is this musk crap? And like I don't know, I was probably expecting like Axe smelling or cologne. Like maybe if I would have found Beard Justice right away it would have smelled better. But you find like a woodsy thing, and just as a man that's the first one you kind of like seem to go towards is like the Woodsman or whatever, and you get it and you're like, this smells like butthole, and like it still does. So like that hasn't changed. But then after a while I was like, well, I'm spending so much money on this, like I am like binge watching this. And when I say after a while, I mean like I got my kit for Christmas and now we're on like January 25th. Okay, so like 30 days later. I was like, I could do this. Like, let me try to make a video. And so I talked to my wife, and I'm like, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna make like a video. And she's like, okay. And she's like, now, is Chris in here, Bearded Mac? Anyway.
No, I haven't seen Chris.
Now, she knows me. She's like, if you're gonna go crazy with this, you need to make sure you're gonna stick with it for 6 months. I was like, all right. So like, I shot a video on my phone, and if you go back and watch the first video, I was just sitting like this in a kitchen chair against the wall in the basement, and I have like a ledge wall, and so I had like 2 products back there because that's like really all I kind of had, and I'm just like, yeah, look at me, I'm scuba, and I had like this bookshelf right in front of me. And I was like, I need lighting in here because scuba said I need lighting. So I went outside and I pulled the rope lights off the deck because we had like a covered deck thing with rope lights around it. And so I pulled those off and I'm like, oh, I can hang those up like over the camera to put lighting in my face. And so like I had this ghetto rig downstairs. And was that offensive?
No. I'm laughing just at you. Just imagining you gathering the lights and putting it around your camera.
Yeah, for real. And then you'd like hit record, but that would like you'd prop your phone up, like right, and you'd hit like record, and then it would move your phone would fall or something. Because I didn't have one of those clampy tripods. I was just leaning it up, like I was just literally setting it like this on something. And so, yeah, I made a couple videos, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I started getting some like subscribers and feedback. And like I went to church and was like, oh, hey, everybody, look, like I got this. Oh, cool, we're doing a Define giveaway. That's awesome.
Oh, wait, what?
Gary. And so I was like, like, I forgot. Oh, I was like, hey, guys, like, I have a YouTube channel. You got to go subscribe to it. So, like, my church goes and subscribes to it. And then, like, you have, I live in a town of 60,000. So it's like anybody that does anything relevant in this town, it's like grandma needs to know. Grandma goes and tells all her friends at bingo. Then the bingo announcer goes home and tells all the other auctioneers. And now the auctioneers are announcing it around at all the cattle sales. And it just spreads like wildfire that there's this person in this town that has a YouTube channel and everybody wants to check it out. So then the paper's all like, like, oh, we should do an article on this person. And anyway, so the channel just grew really fast. And at that point, I just got addicted to buying beer products and buying equipment. Like I'm on my 3rd computer, my 4th camera, it's just got addicting to like wanting to increase. Like, when I moved from that studio, I moved to the other wall in the basement, enclosed like a whole bunch of crap. Got addicted to lighting, and yeah, right. Yeah, and that's like the way I work. Like when I get into something, I just get so addicted to it, and I just want to have the best of everything in it, and I don't like stop until I do. But it becomes my life. Like all my other priorities stopped, right? Like the Chiefs were out of the playoffs at that point, so football didn't matter. Like the Chiefs were done, and so it was just like I'm dropping my whole life and my savings and everything into this. So, and yeah, so that's how I got started. If that answers your question.
It does. I got a couple of questions, and then I got plenty of questions. It's just
we're 20 minutes in already.
Yes.
Dang, I feel sorry for the people watching this crap because to me that felt like 5 minutes.
Listen, man. I don't think you're boring. I'm sitting here enjoying my time, and that's why, out of all people that I could have reached out to, I reached out to you because I enjoyed your style of videos. You may say you're a boring person, but to me, I don't view you as boring. I sat here entertained, like laying up in my seat, wanting to hear more. But I have a couple questions, and I'll toss them down to the guys down below. But a couple questions is my first question is, you were talking about beer brand, and you had a unique opportunity yesterday with David Casey Moe to speak with the founder of Beard Brand. Can you talk about that a little bit? How interesting that was? How it all came about? Like, was he hard to get a hold of? And what was he like?
It was humbling. It was extremely humbling, and I owe David. David really set up the whole thing. It came from Dave and I have just developed a friendship since day one. And I don't remember how it happened. I think I saw his name and I was just like, oh, I got to message this guy. He's a Chiefs fan. Just to be like, go Chiefs, you know. And we started talking. Next thing you know, it's like we talk on the phone every day. He starts, and he's got a temper, man. Like the dude can get like he's got Jew in him, and when that Jew gets like he's like a ticking time bomb, you know. So like a lot of times I have to call him and be like, dude, stop, you know, and just calm down. It'll be okay. And you know, we talk camera stuff. I'm probably the sole reason he's on his third camera, and he built a computer. You know, like I'm the type of friend to him. It's like a brother type thing. You know, he'll put out a video. What do you think of my video? I'm like, well, your audio sucked. You know, like it's never anything positive. It's always like, well, I'll do this and this and this better next time. And so it was one of those things that our friendship just developed, and we started talking about channel growth and stuff. And you know, he's in the business of sales just like I am. He's used to talking to people, and he's not afraid to talk to anybody. And I was just like, dude, how epic would it be if we could get like Eric Banholz on a live stream sometime? Because we were talking about like my Sunday night live stream and where his channel was going to go and things like that. It's like, it'd be so epic to get Banholz in. So he kind of just started reaching out to Banholz and just started talking to him through email or whatever. And, you know, he was asking Banholz questions about YouTube and channel growth and getting tips and tricks on how he grew Beer Brand's YouTube channel and his normal channel. And asked him to come on a stream once. And Banholz just is like, here's my calendar. Like, find a spot, sign up, and did it. So, wow. I mean, it's just, I think, you know, in the aspect of us, like, I think we've all thought Eric Banholz would be awesome to get on a live stream. But we all have that mantra of he's a multimillionaire beard brand CEO. He ain't got time for us little fish. And sure enough, it's like he was on vacation in Iowa, had to send his kids out of the room outside to play because they were at grandma's house to sit on a live stream with two guys that have 7,000 subscribers combined. You know, like that was pretty awesome. So I think it's still humbling at this point to know like the biggest name in the beard world, and we got to sit down with yesterday and just have a conversation. And, you know, we got to bond over tech and bond over families and beards. And I think it's really opened the door for a lot of possibilities. And that's what we want to, that's what Dave and I with this Titan series, what we really, really want to do is we want to do something different. Like, you know, we can go get, and this is no offense to any beard company, any reviewer, no offense to anybody. But I'm going to say Kerry just because he's in here. Kerry's been on live streams, and in July he stepped like, I got to step back from this stuff and focus on Define Beard Company because I feel like I'm saturating the live streams, right? Like there's a lot of people right now bringing beard company owners onto live streams to review. Or just to talk and interview and stuff. So it's like, what can we do different? Like, let's bring in some Titans, like the big dogs. So it's like, you know, we got Banholz. Well, once you do Banholz, like, you know, people reach out, and not necessarily me. I got a lot of good jobs, but Dave's the guy running all this. Like, Dave deserves 100% of the credit. I'm the looks, and Dave's the guy running all this. So, I mean, kind of like a high overview, what we want to do is like a 7-week series and call it like season 1 type of thing. Do like 7 episodes. We got like Spence lined up from Live Bearded. We're going to try to get Lux, Mike, Colin, maybe George Bruno, something like that. And call it like it's the Titans of the Beards. And then week 7, come back and have all of these guys together on the screen at one time. Banholz, Colin, Lux, Mike, I mean, all these guys, and finish off, like, have that the season finale. And then, like, next season, like, we probably, at that point, we'll be in November. So we probably wait till, like, January, start it up again, and do something along the lines of, like, Titans of some other industry. And then, okay, so, yeah, we got Bruno. The Bruno story is actually funny because Bruno actually reached out We had zero contact. Bruno reached out and said, "I'm in today. Let's go." And that was this morning.
Wow.
So there was no even
That's
reaching
really
out to him. He reached out. And so that's what I'm saying is like opening up doors. And you know, as Dave and I are talking at this point, it's just like just kind of building your resume just like you would do in anything. Like we've interviewed Eric Banholz. You know, like who's going to say no to doing an interview when you say, I've interviewed George Bruno, Eric Banholz? You know, nobody in the beer game is going to say no. I mean,
Right.
maybe they will, but you know, so like next week or next season, we'll do something different. Like I know I'm in communication with like Jeremy Sears, and I want to get him in, and maybe we'll go either like whiskey or cigars or technology. We have 3 different ways we can go with him, or EDC, you know, but I want to get like Peter McKinnon, Think Media guys. We got a couple of them that are in. John Cooper is in the works as well. So there's a lot of potential with that, but I'm still mind blowing. I try not to think like that. I try to think like we're all the same people. Right? We're all people. We all do different things. And, you know, the mantra that people have of like, well, it's scary to reach out to Dan or Matt or Scott or even, you know, Scuba or even myself. I've heard that like, I don't know, once. And, you know, it's like, to not have that mantra of like, these are just human beings too. Like, do you imagine the stuff that he goes through as a big company owner? Like getting to chill with 2 bearded guys and talk about nothing that's not business related probably felt really good for him. It was probably nice.
Yep.
And he was yeah, okay. So funny story, since I'm going to tell this story, Dave, I know you're in the comments. I'm going to tell the story because I'm the one that has the live camera right now and the YouTube verse. So Dave and I are sitting backstage. We're talking. And Dave's like, okay, quick, before Banho gets in here, like, I'm going to go take a leak and get a drink. As he's, like, getting up, Banho comes in the backstage. Dave's just sitting there, like, flushing the toilet, and he's like, I think Banholz came in. Are you ready? Like, this is going to be crazy. And Eric's like, I can hear you guys. It was like the funniest thing, probably a hugely embarrassing moment for Dave. But I mean, think about Dave's, you know, his resume right now. He's hosted 2 live streams.
I know.
One with Dan C, myself, and a charity auction that raised a ton of money, and a second one with Eric Banholz. Like, he's got a pretty darn good resume going, and he makes great content. So. It was extremely humbling, and it made me want to go buy some beard brand products, honestly, just because of how he thinks about his business. He still thinks he's small, you know, and it's like you're a multi-million-dollar company. I mean, your YouTube channel alone is worth $800,000. The company's a multi-million-dollar company. You've been on Shark Tank and been rejected. If I was on Shark Tank, got rejected, and was where Banholz is now, I'd be like, check you boys out sitting in your comfy chairs now. I made it, suckers, you know? I mean, like, you got to feel some kind of fire in your heart when you get turned down by these millionaires and then you go do it on your own, you know? Like, that's got to feel better. Okay, I'm done with that question.
Oh, my gosh.
Next question. Time is yours.
All right, okay. I got one more question. I'll leave it to these 2. I mean, I got so many questions. I really do. It's because that's just so interesting that you got one of the biggest people in the beard game. I mean, what is Beard Brand sitting at? Like 1.3 million subscribers?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. And then you can't even imagine how many customers they probably have. I mean, it's a really cool story. And I got to finish watching that. I mean, I watched 20 minutes of it on my way home from work, and I was just, you know, it was really cool.
It gets better as it goes on, I think. You know, I think there's a scare factor. You know, you're like Banholz is very the same as myself, like straight-faced. Like when he's cracking a joke, it took us a little bit to figure out that he's just joking because he's very like no facial expression. And so like we got him to laugh a couple times, and that was awesome. Yeah, he wants to get Aaron Marino, and he's not going to stop until he gets him, but.
Hey, Dave, awesome. Keep going, bud. I mean, you got Eric Banholz of all people. You know, keep going.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like you get that in your resume, and you know, and even like when we reached out to Lux is like, Lux was just like, "Why do you want me? I'm not a Titan," And it's just like, dude, you're a pioneer in the beard world. You really are. And he was just blown away that we had asked him, And it's, I mean, he is. He's a pioneer. So.
All right, we got a question for you, and then I'll go with my question.
Oh man, that was one of my questions.
I can take one of my questions. So when I was growing up, I was like third grade. My parents had divorced when I was in kindergarten, so I had a nanny, and the nanny was from Kansas City. And so every Sunday, as a Chiefs fan, born and raised in Kansas City, you don't miss the Chiefs game. And so every Sunday, she would be watching the Chiefs game, and I didn't see my dad often. My dad was a huge Vikings fan, but didn't see him very often. So I was basically raised watching the Chiefs by my nanny, and it just stuck with me. It just, my dad didn't like it. Of course, he's just like, Randy Moss and Dante Culpepper. I'm like, yeah, Dante Culpepper is nothing without Moss. And then 5 years later, we proved it. At that time, it was like Joe Montana and Marcus Allen. And I mean, it was just like, I got really attracted in with like Derek Thomas. And then like when he died, got in a wreck on the way to the Super Bowl, that was like my first really crazy like sports tragedy that like I felt. And I was just like, man, I'm feeling this about this person that I've only ever seen on TV. And, from there, it was just like a life thing. It was just, I've tried to like root for other teams, like when the Chiefs have a crappy year, is like they're 2-10. Let me just root for somebody else. And then they come and win the next however many games and make the playoffs. I mean, it's just like you get used to being heartbreaking, and usually by week 3, you're saying, no, there's always next season as a Chiefs fan. So that's why I am never this boisterous about the Chiefs, but it's just like for the first time in my life at 35 years old, I can actually talk a little football smack because I'm so used to the smack being talked to me all season long. And I mean, I went through the Elway Super Bowl years. I went through the Raiders being good. I went through, and so I've had my AFC West poundings on me. And so, now it's just kind of like, okay, we're going to hold our own. We're going to hold our own in the AFC West. And, then 2 years ago, you get Mahomes in there, and he's lighting it up, and it's a race to who's going to win the MVP, Mahomes or Brady. And, you get to the Chiefs are always a roller coaster. It's like you get somebody good, you get Jared Allen, and then it's like, nah, get rid of this guy, and then he goes to the Vikings and tears it up, and then you get they always get somebody they've never drafted a quarterback. I mean, it was that's just kind of how they've always been. So like, I remember we get week 1, right? We got Patrick Mahomes. It's week 1. We're in New England. Very first play of the game, like Kareem Hunt's first carry of his NFL career. Dude's never fumbled. He fumbles the football. Very first play. I'm like, there goes the season right there. And Mahomes was held together, and they came back and won the game. He never fumbled again until never fumbled again until he decided to do some domestic violence. So it's like we had the best running back potentially in the history of the NFL.
The history of the NFL.
That is bold.
Potential. I said
that was
potential.
a bold statement. Whoa.
He fumbled his career.
And then he goes and fumbles his career. Yeah, like, I mean, he was good. Oh, I got a Dr. Squat story too. Anyway, so it's been a roller coaster. So then, like, you think, okay, this is our year. And then you go to the AFC Championship. Like, it's in Kansas City for the first time in ever. It's against the Patriots, so we've already beaten. Losing, you come back to tie it up, go into overtime, and you just pee it down your legs, and Brady comes away with a win. And
that was the greatest game.
So then you go into like last year, it was like Mahomes gets hurt in week 2 or 3. You're like, oh crap, we're done. Comes back, you win some, you lose some, somehow end up winning the division. Going into the first week of the playoffs, 24-0, you're losing in the first quarter. You're like, come back and win. Next week, you're losing. Come back and win. get to the Super Bowl. You know, like you're losing every game. You come back and win. You get to the Super Bowl, it's fourth quarter, you're losing by 21. You're just like, this is what we've waited our whole lives for. It's our year, and now we're sitting with 10 minutes left in the Super Bowl, losing by 21 points. And for some freaking way, the defense stepped up, and Mahomes did his stuff, and they came back and won by a margin. It was just crazy. See, I can take a simple question like, how'd you become a Chiefs fan?
I know.
Like, I'm sorry.
I'm listening. I'm enjoying the story. Don't apologize.
You ever wonder why my videos are 20 minutes long? Like, I can't just shut up. I always got stories. I don't get to talk to people.
This is going to be a 3-hour stream.
Never talked to anybody your whole life.
No, I was a secluded kid, man. Like, I grew up in the shed out back, and if I got out, I got whipped with the tree branches, and I was like, you stay in here.
With the switch.
Yeah. Adrian Peterson. You realize that the kid he beat was in my state, right? Like, just on the other side in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay, so what is your Dr. Squat story since you brought it up? What's your story? You said you got a funny story.
This one is super quick.
Okay.
Yeah,
really? Okay. I'll time it.
Super quick.
20 minutes later.
I've done a Dr. Squatch review before. Go Chiefs, Maximus. Speaking of that, Maximus just started his channel. He's almost at 100 subs already. Like,
really? That's awesome.
Like, Maximus is awesome. Go Chiefs. Anyway, so I've done a review on Dr. Squatch, and it's been out for a long time. It's got, 160,000 views. And, I mean, it's just – I guess you could say it went viral. I don't really think so, because then I feel like you would get a bunch of subscribers.
It's a popular video, though, right? So I guess you could say that.
Yeah, but I mean, there's more negative comments than positive comments. But anyway, so I've done that video, and then I've done like a vlog video and like replying to YouTube comments on that video. So today I was waiting for some vape juice to come, and I heard the mail truck because they're loud. Like, does any mail truck in this world have a muffler? Or are they all ridiculously loud? Like, I don't know. Like, anyway, mail truck's loud. I hear it, so I go get the mail. I'm like, what is this? And it says like, Dr. Squatch. I was like, I didn't order anything from Dr. Squatch, and it's my neighbor's. And so then I'm like, do I use it and not tell my neighbor, or do I deliver it to my neighbor thinking that maybe they got my vape juice? Like, if he didn't get my vape juice, maybe I don't want to exchange. But if he did, I need that exchange. And then, like, my conscience started kicking in because my neighbor is a pastor, and I was just like, I really want to fill my pastor's package when I know it is. Like, it's not like I didn't know the address. Like, I knew the name and everything. So I kind of feel dirty just for even thinking I should keep it. But, I mean, anyway, it's still sitting in my entryway downstairs. I haven't taken it to my neighbor yet. So it's still up for debate. I might flip a coin. That was under 3 minutes, by the way.
I hope he steals your vape juice.
That was like 7.
Okay, so you brought up something yesterday.
Oh, boy.
You said that one reviewer said that Dr. Squatch is fake or something like that. What's fake about it? I don't understand.
What did I say?
You left a comment. I said I was going to review Dr. Squatch, and you said so said that the soap is fake.
I must have been talking about something else.
Okay.
I don't recall that. I must have been talking. Was this during a live stream?
It was on yesterday. It was on Ken's channel.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Dr. Squatch is fake.
Were you in a food coma and you don't remember what you said?
Probably.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That sounds believable.
I mean, you guys probably were on like 4 different things, and you had just said Dr. Squatch, but with the lag, I was probably typing something else like,
oh, okay.
Like she's fake, or I don't know.
She's fake.
Are we talking about the palm tree? I don't know what was
I don't remember, man. But okay.
I'm so confused.
I don't know.
Tyson, but you've left me confused in the beginning, and I'm just trying to recollect my brain. Tyson, his story, I mean,
that was a good laugh.
5 to 20 minutes, but I'm enjoying them. I'm enjoying them.
I love it.
All right, so do you feel
Chris.
Yeah,
this
I have
the third question, by the way. 40 minutes in, this is the third question. Or fourth. I don't know. We talked football. We talked YouTube. Come on.
I got a couple questions, but one of the things I've told Tyson, and even Dave, I told him, I was talking to him last week when we were talking about the Titan series. I don't think Tyson gets enough credit in this beard community for all the content he puts out. It doesn't get I know we're not doing it for recognition, but he should have so many more subscribers. He should have so much more recognition. And Tyson, I've told you that before. And Casey, Dave, if he's still in the comments, I was telling him this too. These two dudes put out some of the best video quality that you will see on YouTube, especially Casey, Dave. The quality on that's like I'm in the IMAX theater. But now that that's out of the way, now that I buttered you up a little bit.
I'm hungry.
His head's
So basically, I just, being a content creator, you do the vlogs, you do different things. Because last week we got into different content creator like tips and tricks. What are like 3 things you would give someone new starting out that they should do to grow their channel or to come up in the whatever aspect they want to do their channel about?
Have they started their channel or are they just starting it? Like, have they made a video? Because
how about newcomers?
Yeah, let's do newcomers.
Like, someone that just made a video or two and.
Yeah.
I mean, for the newcomers, first and foremost is don't be afraid. Like, the content is not going to make itself. You have to do something, and it doesn't matter if it's on your phone. Like, you just have to make a video and get it on YouTube, because I promise you, no matter what niche you're in, you're your biggest critic, and you're going to be scared. You're not going to like to do it. You have to get something on there. So that would be the first and foremost, is like, you have to just get a video up there no matter how bad you think it is. The second is, what are you doing? Why are you covering your eyes? Did you draw a marker on your face? Then why were you covering your eyes? Why were you sad?
I passed the plant.
You passed the plant?
Uh-huh.
What does that mean?
I passed it. I texted you.
I know you texted me, but I want to lie to you. I couldn't answer it. Mr. Peanut, I'm so cool. He is fine and funny. He's a good. Why did you swear in the text message? You said he's a good ass thing. I've known that thing. Block your studio when you're trying to do stuff, because that's number 2. No, so my number 2 thing would always be audio. Like, first, you got to make the content. If you've already made a video and you got it uploaded, you got to be consistent. Like, a video a month's not going to work. You got to do it more consistent than that. Number 2 is the audio. And I just say that with the world we're in nowadays. I don't know how many YouTube videos I watch. I listen to most of them. Whether I'm cooking dinner and I have my phone sitting on the counter and I'm listening, or I'm taking a shower listening, or I'm driving listening. It's a video podcast, basically, and I think a lot of people use it that way. So I always say audio. I think you got to have good audio. So my first investment would be a microphone for my iPhone or my Samsung, whatever phone I'm using to record video. I would get audio then. Yeah, Cam, definitely agree.
No one.
And then the third one, as far as growth, is you got to promote yourself, and there's right ways, there's wrong ways. I don't know that anybody can tell you the exact wrong way or right way. Like I said earlier, is I went around my town and I got my church to subscribe. And it was cool. Like, I got a lot of subscribers really fast. But they don't watch the channel after 2 months because they don't care. There's just like, I want to support this guy. They check out your stuff a little bit. And then when they realize 2 months later that you're putting out 3 videos a week on beards, they're just like,
Right.
like, they don't unsubscribe, but they're not doing you any good either.
Right.
That kind of kills your thing. So it's like, if I could go back and do it again, I wouldn't even recruit people I knew to subscribe to my channel, because if they're not going to watch it, they're not going to participate. It actually hurts you more than it helps you. So I wouldn't do that. And yes, I see somebody say BU. It's so hard to narrow it down to 3 things to tell somebody,
Says
like
the Colts fans.
Yeah. Colt, don't be a Patriots fan. Don't be a Colts fan.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning was so 10 years ago, but
Yeah. At least Brady's still playing.
you got to be yourself. If you're trying to be somebody you're not, it's going to be exposed one way or another. And you can only put on a show for so long. And that's where I just love my videos, because I am a super organized, like, I want everything out. So when I came up with the Faithful Ranker score, it's like, I don't want to have to go back and remember things. I just can go to my website. I can see things. I have all of the stuff organized in my OneDrive and all that stuff. But that's how I run my normal like life as well, is everything is so super organized. And so the channel gets that way. And, I think it's organized for everybody. And, I'm not afraid to put work in or money in. And I think, that's something you got to be able to put work in. And if you only have, we see a lot of YouTubers come and go in the beard community, especially. And I think some of it is they get stepped on and they get discouraged because they're looking at the subscribers. I think the other part of it is when you don't have a consistent schedule and you can't sit down and actually plan time out to make videos. Next thing you know is like, oh, it's 3 weeks and I haven't made a video. And you're just like, well, it's a day off. I want to go do something different. Like you got to prioritize things too. So, Chris, I am not going to reach back and pull an oil off the shelf to prove it's not a green screen, but I do have a video that all I have to do is hit submit on, and it will prove that this is not a green screen. And I'm going to recruit Scott to watch it because I made it just for him. Next question. Time's yours.
I didn't know if you were done. I was just like, okay, what else?
I listed 6 like bonus points. Like you guys have got some good content.
You've all right. So, what would you say that someone has to do? You've given some advice to beginners. What about somebody that's in that middle period, like someone like me, or someone like Devin or Matt, or somebody that's in that middle where they're either stuck or they don't know where to go? Have you been in that situation, and what would be your advice to that person that's in that situation, that's in that middle?
Oh yeah, for sure. I was in that situation. I'd like to say everybody gets in that situation. I think we call it a creative rut. But I don't necessarily know that everybody does. So I don't want to speak for everybody, and I know a lot of people do. And I got in that rut. We're in a pretty small community, and it seems big. You see Scuba with 150,000 subscribers, and you see, other people in the thousands and teen thousands, and you see Dan at 28,000. I think he hit yesterday. So you get kind of like, oh, this community is so big, and I can't come see. I'm talking. Okay. And so, it's really easy to step on somebody's toes. It's really easy to say something and offend somebody, get pushed out of a group, or get sucked into a different group, or anything like that. And I think your attitude and your outlook on the community. I mean, it's easy to be in a live stream and have 4 or 5 different guys around and talking about different things, and maybe say something that you wouldn't normally say, or do something you wouldn't normally do, like pull out the whipped cream and take your shirt off. Like there's things that can happen. And, so when that happened to me, I said something stupid, and then, like once you start kind of getting like feeling down on yourself or your channel and things like that, that's when the creative rut kicks in, or just the grind of like, it's been 6 months I've been doing 3 videos a week. Like I haven't grown very fast or what I expected, and so you just kind of get disappointed, and maybe you get a busy week at work. When I was traveling, it was hard to find time, and so you just get that creative rut. And it's like, for me, I got to the point where I was just at like, man, anybody can just get on the camera and say like, anybody can just get on there and just be like, oh, it smells like wood. It smells like cat litter. I love this one. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, like anybody can do that. And so I was like, that's all I'm doing. So I kind of just went to my technology side of things, and like, what are these guys in the technology world when they're doing reviews? Like, what are they doing to set themselves apart? Because there's a lot of big technology reviewers with millions of subscribers. Like, why do I want to watch this one guy talk about his hard drive and his computer compared to this one guy? And it's like, what is this benefiting me? What is he giving me that he isn't? What is he giving me? So then I was just like, well, what can I give people? Like, the whole point of making content is to solve somebody's problem, right? Or to give them an answer to something or to do something. And it's like, what's like the one thing that people always ask for is like, who's your favorite company? Who makes this the best? Who's the best this? And then everybody's just doing like my top 5. No offense, Devin. My top 5 scents of the summer, or my top 5 butters, or my end of year top stuff. And so I was just like, I'm gonna make it so where people don't even have to reach out to me and ask who my top 5 are, so I don't even have to even ask, or do top 5 videos. Anything like that is just, I'm going to start ranking these all out on scoring. I'm going to try to get companies wanting to improve their game because they want a better score. And so I came out with the scoring system, started putting it up on the website. Now it's like, I have a place with all my discount codes, how I score at the company. So it's like, you want to know which company I think is the best feeling beard? Hit up the website because you got it right there. You got the review linked right there. You got the score, you got the feeling beard, and you got the discount code. One-stop shop. I tell beard companies owners this all the time. If I cannot buy a beard oil in 3 clicks, redo your website, because 3 clicks, people start dropping off. It's proven in the Google Analytics. Like, you got to be able to buy something on a website in under 3 clicks. Otherwise, I start clicking around and I get bored. So like that's, and then that's kind of where like I started making, okay, so like, let's do the scoring. Well, then you start getting companies asking like, well, how can I improve my score? So then that's where it kind of comes back to like, okay, so now that I'm scoring these companies out, I'm not the type of person to go on screen or do anything and be like, this sucks, I don't like it, don't buy this. I'm more like, this is what I think of it and how they can improve. So I now have the opportunity with a scoring system to say like, this isn't my favorite scent. Or I can say like, yeah, it's pretty good. The feeling beard's good. I don't have to dive into like too much of how I actually think about it, of like, this is the best butter ever. And then my next review, this is the best butter ever. And then I have a top 5 at the end of the year. And it's like, I said this butter was the best butter I ever had in July, but it's not even in my top 5 now in December. Like that doesn't register in my head to make sense to me. And I think about those things. And so I was like, it's a way for me to make a video, be straight down the center, and what I think of the company. Because if they're ranked under a 9, I don't even have to say anything bad about them. Like, they're going to know that they got to step up a little bit, improve a little bit. There's something, and it could be labeling. It could be, there's a lot of different factors, but you guys can tell where I kind of feel like a company is just by the score of them. But I also like to say in the videos, like, this is why, like, if I get a beard oil and it doesn't have a scent profile on it, like, to me, that is a negative thing. To me, like, that doesn't mean it is to everybody, but I got a lot of beard oils back there. And if I go and pick one up and I can't even tell, like, it says it's like Highway 15, well, what's the scent profile? Like, tell me just like the top notes or something so I can trigger a memory in my head of what this is, And so, like, I like to do that, but then that leads to companies reaching out. And pretty much everybody knows right now, like, he posted it. So if you don't, sorry, breaking news, breaking news. Like, Kerry just redid his labels and I did them all. Like, I did every single label, redid every single label for him. And there was no reason other than like, hey, let me try to redo your labels. Maybe it saves you a little bit, and let me kind of do my artistic design just a tad. And, it was fun, and I think he really liked them. So.
That's Did awesome. You change Lemon Delight?
I was going to change Lemon Delight, but Kerry was like, he was a very awful non-paying customer. Because he was like, hey, it's Friday. I need these labels by Sunday. Get on it. And I'm just like, yeah, I got nothing going on. I'll just sit down and hammer these out. And I'm just kidding. I love Kerry. He was really good with it. But no, I didn't change Lemon Delight. I did change some other stuff, though.
I was about to say, I was just like, if he's changed labels, he's changed Lemon Delight. Because every single time he talks about Lemon Delight, he loses his mind on the color.
But my goal, realistically, is like, how can we make these companies better? If I can take, realistically, if Kerry can send me his file because he does his own label, and I can modify it and use my artistic ability to modify it a little bit, and it takes me 3 hours, but it benefits his company and him. If I can make a beer company a little bit better just by taking a little bit of my time, it is completely worth it to me, because my whole goal is to make these companies better. When I talk to a company, I want to make them better. When I talk to a YouTuber, a content creator, I want to give them advice on how to make them better. When I talk to consumers, I want to make sure that they're buying a product that they're not going to be disappointed with. You know, a lot of guys like to say, I'm in it for the consumer, I'm in it for the consumer. And it's like, yes, we're all in it for the consumer. But at the same time, if we are helping the companies improve, we're helping every consumer. We're helping every company, because now with the ranking system and helping companies out, they're all stepping up their game, because companies share information. When one company finds out something good, then they're talking to other companies and they're helping and they're sharing. Like, I guarantee you, Carrie at Defined has learned something from another company and has also passed that along to another company. These companies talk. We're small, you know? And so if you can help one company, you're probably helping a couple companies. And I think any company would be lying if they didn't say they want to be big box retail. And I mean, maybe they'll come out and say they don't want to be, they're just doing it as a passion. But if somebody came and offered you $1 million contract to be in their store, you would do whatever you could do to keep your small batch feel, but get in that store. You know, like, we would. That's business. I'm done. Next question.
Billy Roger. Billy Roger question. Could you answer that? It's on the screen.
Hang on, I gotta turn my volume up. It's like storming so bad outside I can barely hear you. So if you hear hail, my house is.
I hear it.
It's currently being hailed on for the 4th time this year, and they just re-sided our house. So
okay,
anyway.
we'll be praying that your windows aren't busted out.
Oh, how did you come up with the Beard Awards? Oh, that's a really good question. I don't talk about that nearly enough, because when I talk about it, it seems like nobody cares. But that's my baby. I don't know how I came up with it. It just hit me one day. I was just like, why do we not have like an award show for the beard companies, you know? And so I was just kind of like tossing ideas around. I was like, it'd be so cool. Like, you know, we have the Grammys and we have the Emmys, like just beardies, you know? And so I started talking to Adam at Barton about it, just because him and I talk a lot, you know, just as kind of like friends, you know, like life stuff. And he helps keep me centered a little bit. And, you know, so we were just talking. I was like, I'm thinking this beardy thing, like awards, like, what do you think? And he's like, well, you know, so we kind of tossed ideas around. And so I was just like, you know what, I'm going to make like these trophies. We'll do this voting. And it was one of those things where I got the idea and I went like pedal to the metal now, and like didn't really think it through a terrible time, because I just wanted to get it like going. It was like September when I thought of it, and I was like, we need time to vote. I need time to print awards and get them. And so I ended up spending like $400 on these glass awards, like out of my pocket, because I was like, I just got to get this done, you know? And so I ordered them and I etched them up, and like, you kind of have to rush it around a little bit, because it's like you can't order an award with an etching on it until you know who won.
Right.
So I went on my website and I created a poll, and the poll was like, I kind of just asked around to some friends, buddies, you know, in the community, like, what categories should we do? Let's do 12 categories. What categories do you think? Like best wash, co-wash, oil, and then let's do some fun ones, like, you know, company of the year, or most creative company, or best presentation, best customer service type thing. So once we got the categories down, I just came up, realistically, I just took voting. I said, who would you pick for this company? And then I averaged them out and took the top 5 companies that had the most votes, and those became like the finalists. And then when the finalists came out, I reopened the voting and said, go vote. It's going to be open for a month. Whoever wins is like, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm going to close the voting. And then I'm going to get this stuff printed up. So I got the winners, and I printed out the glass awards, ordered those up. And then I sent out emails to every company that was a finalist, every single one. So 12 times 5, whatever, 60, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, yeah. 60, I sent out to 60 companies. Well, probably not 60 companies because I think there was a company that was voted like twice, whatever it was, but sent emails to all of them, and it was like this professional, like, yeah, you're cordially invited to the 2019 Beardy Awards finalist. You get in this email because you were a finalist. Come join us on this night, blah, 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 blah. Share this out. Let's draw some people in. I got Jester. I thought Jester would be fun to do. Put a lot of effort into like the slides and the awards, because it was really professional. Like I had an opening, and then it was like, and here are the nominees for Company of the Year, and then it played like this music and went through like the Grammys would do. And unfortunately, we had internet issues, so it was like laggy and freezing, and it was an awful experience for anybody watching. And I felt so bad. I was defeated after that because I'd put 4 months worth of work into that, a lot of money and a lot of time, and it did not go through on the internet like at all. I was so upset.
Didn't you do a summary of it?
Yeah, I did a summary of it and put that up, and then I mailed out all the Beardy Awards. So that's where that came from. It was just an idea that I thought of, and then I had the voting on my website, and I just had companies push it out on their Instagrams and their websites and stuff. And I know it meant something to some companies. In fact, I just like on Thursday, I saw Colin was on a live stream. He had his Beardy with him, and like I told companies that, like when you get this, put it on the front page of your website, and you can use it as advertising of like, Define Beard Company voted hot new company of 2020 by the beard community, and have like a picture of your Beardy on there. Like you can flash these around, like Patrick Mahomes is flashing the Super Bowl trophy and MVP around, like you can flash these around and prove like you did something good. So that realistically cost me a ton of time and almost like $1,000, and I got to figure out a different way to do it this year.
Well,
I'm doing it again.
I'm looking forward to when you do,
Yes,
the 2020 Beardies. I mean, I didn't watch your stream for the Beardies. I watched the summary. That's why I asked, because I remember the summary, and I remember you saying, "Oh, it went bad," but I didn't see what went bad about the Beardy stream, and I got to find out and discover some new companies just because I was new in the beard game. And your Beardies kind of opened it up a little bit to these companies I've never heard of.
Yeah, and I mean, there was a lot of surprising ones to me, right? Like Damn Yankee won Company of the Year, which to me, they were a really small company that nobody, like, they weren't as big as Lux. Like I thought Lux would take that, or Chesapeake, or somebody that would, maybe had a bigger following, but like Damn Yankee, like that was surprising to me. So that was like really fun, like going into the stream knowing like Damn Yankee won Company of the Year. Like, you guys want to see this. This is so exciting. And then the stream just went to crap and all that stuff. And then you got 12 glass awards that you got to ship out. I mean, you're talking $12 a piece to ship those, so it's like, holy cow. And, so this year I got John, the Fine Beardsman. He's going to be the co-host with me just because he's got that amazing interview talent and voice, and he'll be able to run it really well. Him and I both have upgraded our internets. I got gigabyte internet now, and you need that upload speed. So hopefully you don't lag. And I got a better computer for editing. So I got the same template as last year. So realistically, I could just kind of change some stuff. But I also don't believe in, it's a year later. Like, we're in different trends and things. Like, I need a new award show theme, Like, you can't just use the same one and change the words. So, I'll probably throw like, I was thinking of like having like a red curtain and stuff, and then have like the Super Bowl or like the Lombardi Trophy be like spinning across the screen as the transition or something. I don't know. We'll see what I come up with.
Suit and tie. I want to see Tyson in a suit and tie.
He wins one Lombardi Trophy, and this guy thinks he's Tom Brady.
Oh man, here we go.
But I'm looking forward to that because I like Tevin. I watched the summary because, as most of you guys know, last year I wasn't really too involved in the community because I was in my break period. But I did, when I came back, I went back and watched a lot of stuff, and I watched the summary on that. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys will be live this year. Like, I'm pretty sure Matt will be. He's a moderator on the channel, so I'll be like, Matt, you got to be live in here.
Oh yeah,
I'll be there. I'll be there.
Wouldn't miss it.
Yeah, and I'm like, And so, like, two things just popped in my head. One, like the question that Jason had, like, where'd you find your music? Like, that's another piece of advice. Like, audio is so important. And like, I've talked to Kyle and Joe about this, and I might have even mentioned it to Devin. Maybe not. If I haven't, I guess you're getting some advice now. Like, when we do intros and then we do normal videos, the sound levels are different. And like, there's nothing more annoying than being in your car and you start a video and it's like, hey, what's going on? Well done, steak here, and I'm back for another video. And then it's like, we're gonna get into it right after this. And I'm like cranking it up because he talks quiet. And then all of a sudden the intro hits and it's like, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I have to like turn it down. And then he starts talking again, and I got to turn it back up. Like, oh, it drives me insane. So, like, every time that happens, I always reach out to the person. Well, I won't say always. Did I reach out to you, Devin, and say that?
You said something. You didn't talk about the music, but that's something that I've been playing around with. But I can't seem to get it right. But
Yeah, so
you
I'm
did
just
talk
like,
about how like the audio is quiet when I talk, and I think that's just part of like I've always just been real quiet when I talk, and that's just kind of
Yeah.
how I am.
So I always tell people, like, get your audio levels, like, intro music, like, get it up there, get your voice up there, or lower your, do something, get them leveled out. But and then my second thing I was gonna say, I forgot at this point. So. Oh, moderators. I was talking about moderators. Like, I really want, like, I have so much respect for moderators in this community, and as your channel gets bigger, and I've gotten more haters, which is completely fine, but I've seen a lot of weird comments on my videos lately, and so it's really grown to appreciate moderators, to have people on your channel that can kind of control some of that stuff, but also to like help you with your content and things like that. So like I'm really like trying to set like a precedence that moderators need to be rewarded for the work that they do. Like if they're going to share out my content, if they're going to be at all my live streams and things like that to make sure that my channel goes successful, like they need something out of that. So like I'm just tossing ideas around like what I want to do for my moderators right now, but I want to do something for my moderators to show appreciation all the time. And I really want to like get that trend line going to help build the community of like, I'm a moderator for, for Tyson or whatever, and this is how I benefit from it. This is what I do for him, and this is what I get out of it, type of thing. So I'm working on something like that, and Matt kind of knows things that I've talked about because he's one of my moderators, and so he kind of knows. But most of us are pretty humble, so of course the moderator's like, "Oh, I don't need anything," and I just do it to help you and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, no, we do things to help each other out because we're in a community together and we want to see each other succeed. But being able to come into, if I expect you to be a moderator and be at every live stream and help me, like you should be able to expect something from me in return, and that's just kind of the way I look at it. We help each other out. So
Brian raised a question. I popped it up on the screen.
Any chance you're going to do an ad in a couple of beardies? Oh, add in a couple of beardies for reviewer categories. I mean, it's been tossed around. I kind of thought about it, and it's just like I just don't want it to become like a popularity contest, which it still can with companies. It can become a popularity contest, but maybe, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely open to ideas. I don't necessarily want like a best reviewer category because I think then it kind of just like the only reason I say that is just like, okay, so you take me and you take Dave, Beer Guy Kansas City, and you say best reviewer. I share it out on my channel. He shares it on his. I got 6,000 subscribers. He's got 400 subscribers. Like most likely, I'm probably going to win. And nothing with that at all. It's just you share it out to the following that you have. You're most likely going to get more votes if you have a bigger following. So I'm trying to figure out a way that would like. I think it'd be kind of fun to do like a best like a reviewer category voted on by the reviewers. So like a ballot goes out to all the like reviewers or the main reviewer or content creators in the community, and you vote on somebody other than yourself, or something like that, and then it's like so it's voted on by other reviewers, and then we could do one for the consumers, I guess, too, that like to watch our content. But I mean, either way, it doesn't really matter. I mean, just like voting for the companies, it can be a popularity contest, and it can be like just be like Barden feels good in my beer, but it might not feel good in everybody else's beer. So still like personal preference all the way around,
Right.
All right, I'm just gonna do a couple more questions, and then we're gonna flip the switch a little bit because I really want to hear your testimony. That's why
I want to get serious.
You want to get serious? We're gonna get serious. Don't worry. There's gonna be serious. If we go over, that's fine. I'm just more worried about your stomach and you going into this big old food race.
I just don't like going over other people's live streams.
I don't either.
I literally jumped out of a live stream the other night. I was like, well, actually, I did it to Chris too. I was on his, and I was like, I'm leaving because I don't want to hold anybody from anybody else's live stream. Like, I personally myself do not want to be on camera when somebody else is streaming. I want to go support them. And like yesterday, just so happened that I was in a live stream the same time 2 other live streams were going on, which I absolutely do not like doing that. But like, I had my iPad and my phone here, and I was in all 3 because it's like, I want to be there and support and pay as much attention as I can. And I owe Chris an opportunity to go back on his show because I cut it at an hour because there was another stream that was getting ready to start. I was like, sorry, dude, I can't. I personally, in good conscience, cannot continue on with this show while John is getting ready to start his live stream. I'm a moderator for him. Not only that, I like watching his content. I want to support the person he has and the person he is and support his channel. So I do my best not to miss anybody's live stream, and I don't want to be the reason myself why I miss somebody's live stream, and I don't want to take any viewers away from anybody else's live stream, So anyway, I don't know where that question came from. I just rambled. Go figure.
I think it was meant to be said. All right, so how about we move on and flip the switch? I mean, unless somebody has another question, like you guys. I mean, I had plenty of questions.
You said you had 2 more questions, and now you're flipping the switch because we have.
Do you want to be serious or not?
Well, one more good question.
Okay.
Make me think. Put me on the spot.
Okay, so I do have one question, unless you guys do. I mean,
Devin, what do you got, Devin?
Yeah, let Devin go.
Okay, I'll shut up.
Okay, so before we flip the switch a little bit, I know we kind of talked about it last night. I can't remember what. Like, ew, that's disgusting. Stop. Get some help. Yeah, I don't know who that guy is. But so I know we kind of talked. I can't remember what stream it was in last night. There was like 800 of them going on, but we kind of had talked about, like, do you film in advance? Do you film the day of? And I know, Tyson, you had mentioned that you film like same day, edit, and then upload. Have you tried doing other things like filming ahead of time? Does that just not work for you? Do you have a preference? And can you kind of explain some of your procedures when it comes to filming and that whole sort of thing?
Man, I am so crazy when it comes to filming. Because, and this is going to be a contradiction because I just said earlier that I am super organized and like to plan things out. And while that is true, I absolutely do not like scripting my videos. I have tried. I don't like it. The only thing in my videos as far as like scripting goes is if it's like I'm gonna rank a company out, like I go through my Excel sheet, I put all their stuff in and I print it out so I have it so I can talk about it. Or if it's factual based, I write down the facts so I make sure that I'm spitting out the right information. Other than that, like I cannot. I think we're gonna get into that, Rob. I have not been able to just like sit down and film 3 videos. To me, and this is nothing against anybody that does this because I love Dan and I know he films a lot of videos in one day or in a weekend and he's a couple weeks in advance. I literally cannot do that. Like I don't have the motivation to do that. Like I get like I film pantless, right? Like nobody can see down. Like I'm paintless 90% of the time. And like for some reason, when I have to go film, and when I get done filming, I'm just like, and I'm just like, I reach down, I grab my switch, I'm like, I hit my button, and I'm just like, oh, lights off. I feel like relieved, you know? And then I'm excited to get in and start editing it and all that stuff. And so like I feel like if I film 2 in a row that I would have to go change clothes. Why? I just don't know. Like for me, like I just feel like I have to, because if I put out 2 videos in a row that I'm wearing the same, like those are things I notice, right? Like I notice those little things of like, dude, you put out 2 videos this week and you were wearing the same clothes and sitting like you're wearing the same hat and stuff. Like, you know, like I look at that stuff, like that little stuff. And does it really matter in the beard world? Probably not. Like, no. But, you know, I've also like, you know, that's part of my channel. Is like I always did the unboxing on Monday and the review on Friday. So it was like real time. Like I got this in the mail. I'm unboxing it right here live for you Monday morning. And then I'm going to review it on Friday to get that full time. Like I have to wake up Friday, put the product in my beard, now score everything out. And, you know, I'm kind of like spare the moment, like walk in. If I'm not feeling it, I can't film. I just can't do it if I'm not feeling it. So trying to plan them out for me just doesn't work, because if I'm not feeling it, I'm going to push it anyway. So I'm kind of just like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to film. If I skip one, I skip one. I try to stay Monday, Friday as much as possible, but if work gets in the way, it gets in the way. I think there's a point to being super consistent on your videos at days and times, but I also think there's a point of like having a life, or like things pop up. Not that you can't have a life or anything like that, but like that's just my routine. I'm routine oriented. Like Monday morning at 5 a.m. I get up and I'm gonna film. Friday morning 5 a.m. I get up and I'm gonna film. Wednesday's more like I'm gonna film if I have content that I really want to get out there. If not, I'm probably gonna podcast. So yeah, I tend to, and I tend to make things like, I have this philosophy that I've learned in the corporate world of like work smarter, not harder. So I do not tear, this is why I have a studio. I do not tear anything down. I do not do a thing. We get off of here, I will hit the power button on my camera and light switch and be done. And when I'm ready to film again, I'll hit the light switch that I have mounted right here. I'll turn on my lights. I'll hit the light switch behind me. I turn on the back wall. I'll press the power button on my camera and hit record. Like it's the same thing with a website. If you can't be recording within 3 buttons, like make your life simpler. Like there's no need to set up a tripod every single time. And this isn't against anybody new that's starting out that doesn't have the money to buy a second tripod or anything like that. But it's like, if I can mount things and have it, I like my lights are, everything's mounted. Like I use the same mic for live streams as I do for recording videos. Why? Because I don't want to have 2 mics. Did it cost me a little bit? Well, yeah, I had to get a switcher and a soundboard to be able to do that with my microphone that I record videos with. But it's like, why have 2 mics when I can just have one sitting right here and I don't have to switch things around? Like I can just either go live or hit record on the camera and be filming, or on a live stream. Like make everything as easy as possible. So yeah, spare the moment. I could just be like, I'm going to go film, and within 10 seconds be filming.
Sweet, man.
That's awesome.
All right, so this
That's
is
a
the
dream.
part where we're going to flip the switch. We're
Very
going to
much.
find out a little bit more about the man behind the camera, the man behind the Faithful Studios, Mr. Tyson Wald. Tyson, you always say that, you know, you're serious. I feel like you're very balanced, you know, with your life. Like you're funny, you're relatable, and then you bring in a little bit of seriousness when you're talking about the company and how the company can improve. So we're going to bring out that serious side in you just a little bit. Do you mind sharing your testimony? Like the first thing that I realized when I came into your channel is your name, Faithfully Bearded. So like, tell us a little bit about that. Like, how did that come about? I mean, that's why I went to your channel, is because you have faith in your title. And when I watched your intro, you talked about it. Just, I mean, you didn't really hit home talking all about it, but you said, hey, I'm faithfully bearded.
Yeah, so I mean, it has absolutely nothing to do with Christianity. It just means like I'm faithful to my beard. It ain't going nowhere. Next question.
There's no way you're done.
That's a record for him.
That was like 3
That is
seconds.
a record.
Well, there's nothing more to it.
Okay, so maybe I was confused on that.
I'm gonna do this. I'm all in. I'm never gonna shave my beard. I'm faithful to my beard. Oh, faithfully bearded. Like that's it.
Okay, so maybe I misunderstood. I thought you were joking at
Is
first.
that what's been wrong this whole time? Is like people like think it's a Christian thing?
You do
This guy.
kind of like.
Yeah.
Okay, come on, man. Quit
This guy.
messing with me.
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, my testimony. I honestly feel like I have more than one testimony, to be honest with you, and I mean it goes way back, and I'll try not to make this 40 minutes. What do you need, kiddo? You got a badge?
Yep.
Good job. Can you shut my door? I gotta talk really adult and serious here. I'll be done shortly, and then we'll get some dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so I grew up, like I said, my parents got, I was born in a really small town, and, in small towns, like really small, old school, pretty much everybody there migrated from Austria. So I mean, I'm pure German. My mom got pregnant at 16 with my brother, and that kind of like alienated them from the city and from the church and things like that. Because that's a no-no, So back in that day, like their parents made them get married. They got married young. My dad got a job in the city that we live in now, and so we moved out here. And I mean, there's just been I don't have exact time frames or anything like that, but I mean, suicide runs so far in the family. Like 2 weeks after we moved out here when I was 2, and so in the between the time of my brother being born when my parents were 16 to when I was 2, which would have been like 8 years, my grandpa committed suicide, my uncle committed suicide, my other uncle committed suicide. And so the family kind of had drama, but just heartbreak. And my parents were doing like kind of the thing that, nobody in a small town wanted to do. They either shouldn't have done, and so they were kind of ousted. My dad got a job offer here. So they moved here. My dad, I think growing up was never that great of a dad. I don't think he knew how to be a dad at that time. My mom was sick when my brother was in her womb. So he was born with some deficiencies, legally deaf, legally blind. So he was a lot of work. And, so I don't think my dad really knew how to be a dad. He was at work at 4 a.m, got off at 1, you're tired in the afternoon and things like that. And I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but, so they just had their ups and downs. I don't know, like officially ever really what caused their divorce when I was 5. My dad says that my mom was stepping out on him. My mom says my dad was stepping out. Like we've never really got the real answer. I even sat my mom down within the last year and asked for the real answer, and she sticks to her guns. So I mean that's really what I have to believe in. And so however it happened, but then so my mom's like a single mom. Mom's a single mom raising 3 kids in nursing school, and she's running a daycare to try to bring in some extra money too. And she meets one of the daycare kids' dads, and they started dating and everything. My dad basically, how custody works in South Dakota is the non-custodial parent gets the kid every other weekend. That's all he did. That's it. It was like I remember being a kid sitting at the window, staring out the window on Friday afternoon, waiting for Dad to show up. And it would be Friday night at 7 or 8 o'clock, just in time to take us to his house and put us to bed. And Sunday, it was like the earliest Mom would let him drop us off. We were there. And the whole time, like growing up, spending with Dad was like, here's a 12-pack of soda and video games. Just I mean, it was like he was kind of like our daycare of like just survive, just get through. You want pizza? Here you go. You want all the soda you want? I stocked the fridge up for you. Like just stay out of my hair, kind of like. I mean, he would never say that or anything, but that's looking back on it. That's really how it was. But I'm gonna try to speed this up because I'm like I haven't even got to anything other than I'm 5 years old. Like. So my mom was dating this guy, and things were on and off, like I've actually counted it up. They went from being together and living together to living separate 13 times from when I was 5 years old until they got married when I was 16 years old. So less than every year they broke up and we would move. We would literally move and we'd be there for like 3 months and then we'd move back in with him. And, we were faithful of going to church. We go to church on Sunday. We went to the oldest school Lutheran church you could possibly find because that's what my parents grew up in, the old school Lutheran churches. You'd stand up, sit down, you'd be singing hymns, you'd do communion and all that. And, the turn to your neighbor and give them a handshake. And as a kid, I mean, that's boring. Like there's nothing entertaining about church for a kid. Nothing. And, so you start getting older and it's like, I don't want to go to church. Like, you start talking, I didn't want to go. I just didn't. It was boring. I didn't understand a thing. Trying to understand a Catholic or a Lutheran sermon is, if you don't understand the Bible, it's hard. And so, my parents, my mom made me go. And at that point, it was like the weekends we were at dad's, he didn't take us. So I was just like, started gaining bias towards dad because I didn't have to go to church. And mom would always make us go. Then I got old enough and I was like, now we're into Wednesday night church and confirmation. And like, I hated doing that. And I just skipped by as much as I could. And then, it was always a battle with my mom. And she was just like, well, when you're 16, you get confirmed, like you can make the choice. I was like, perfect. That's my motivation to get through. So in that time, I turned 14, I started driving. My stepdad, well, he wasn't my stepdad at the time, but, him and I were kind of rocky. He was very controlling. And I mean, I remember a time where, him and my sister got into it and I was trying to protect my sister and he beat me with a shoe. Like he literally grabbed a shoe off his foot and started smacking me with it. We told my mom defended him. And, so it kind of closes the kids off. Like me and my sister got a really tight bond and it was kind of just protect ourselves. We didn't like this guy. We were mad at our mom that she would continue to pick this guy over us. We'd finally get a big enough ruckus to where she would get in a fight with him and we'd move out, and then as I got older, I got more defensive and more protective. And I remember, when I was 14, he was trying to be the good dad, let me drive his vehicle to school. And we got in a fight and now I could no longer drive the vehicle. So I was like, buy your own. Oh, hey, I'll sell you one of ours. As a 14-year-old kid, I'm like, cool, that's awesome. My mom let the deal happen. He got pissed off at me 2 weeks later and took the vehicle away from me. I'm like, you can't take it away. Like, I'm buying it. Like he tried to take it away to where I couldn't buy it, like pull out of the deal, and then, I remember being 16 and my sister was having issues. She was dating a black guy and they didn't like it. And, I remember her getting in a fight with my mom and I stood up for her. I was protecting my sister again. And this time I was old enough to actually get physical when he pushed us, like I was 16 years old. I was training at a black belt in Taekwondo at that time. I was training jiu-jitsu. Mixed martial arts wasn't a thing at that time. So it was like you did jiu-jitsu or Taekwondo. Well, I already had my black belt in Taekwondo, so I was doing jiu-jitsu. So I felt tough, and he pushed my sister and he's 6'6", 290, he's a big dude. Well, we ended up getting in a fist fight and he kicked me out after that. And so I went and lived with my dad. They decided to get married. And there's my notification that I got 30 minutes to finish this off before the hype goes on. And so I went and lived with my dad, and my dad was the same person, right? Like we would talk, he was fine. We'd watch football on Sundays together, hoot and holler, and but I mean, he let me do whatever I wanted, right? Like he didn't care. I remember nights. I remember nights staying out until he'd call me when he got up for work at 4 a.m. He'd be like, "Where you at?" I'm like, "I'm hanging out over here." Okay, just making sure you're alive. You know, it's like it's a school night. Like at the time, I loved it. I'm like, I can do whatever the heck I want. You know, like this is fantastic. But now being a father, looking back at it, I'm like, what in the heck was he doing? You know, and my mom and stepdad got married, and I went to the wedding. I ended up getting in an argument with my mom. I remember her yelling at me, you know, like you ruined my wedding day, blah 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 blah. And at this time, I still wasn't going to church. I got confirmed, and like I boycotted church. I didn't understand it, didn't like it. So then, you know, I turned 18, moved out on my own, and you know, you kind of feel like the real life stuff. And I was a drunk man. Like my mom moved so much, the school didn't have our phone number, and so I knew I could skip school and not get a repercussion at all. I got around the wrong kids, started smoking and drinking. I went my junior year of high school. I actually missed more days of school than I went to. I was super afraid of public speaking. So in 11th grade, like English class is pure, like you write a paper and you go up in front of the class and you speak it. You know, you present it. I'd skip those days. I'd skip a whole week. Is like Monday, we're going to read out our presentations. I'd skip the whole week just so I wouldn't have to read out my presentation. And you get to the end of the year and the teacher's like, you miss every week that we're supposed to do a presentation. You're failing my class. Like, we got to get you past this class. And I'm like, you know, I just tell her, like, I can't get up in front of the class and do this. Like, I can't do it. So she, you know, like, okay, if you put all your presentations together, come into school and give them to me, then, you know, I'll pass you. So I did that. But I was always a math nerd. I could do math like nothing. I could finish all my math homework in class. Like, kids would struggle. I'd just fly through math. You know, and then, you know, my senior year, you know, I had loaded up my schedule to where my senior year I had one class that I had to go to. And so I was working. So I was like working 40 hours a week doing my one class in high school, and it was poetry. And I actually, I and basically still drunk all the time. Like I went to school drunk. I'd go to lunch, sit in the parking lot and smoke and drink. And I mean, I kind of skipped a part, but I don't know if it's really relevant to the school. When I was 11, I got arrested. My sister taught me how to shoplift, and you know, she's like, "Don't ever do it without me." Well, I did, and I got busted and went to jail at 11 years old. And you know, so from that point on, that point kind of like set me straight with cops. Like, I don't like to break the law to a point, I guess. I mean, it doesn't really make sense. Like, I'm scared of cops because of that, but like, I'm scared of jail because of that. But I guess it doesn't really make sense when I tell you that I was drinking every day and going to school. I mean, I remember going to work drunk, driving, and, you know, like just really rough times. And so the girlfriend I had at the time ended up cheating on me. And like, that was like a fresh start. You know, I was like, okay, fresh start. I'm done drinking. I turned 21. I went to the bar one time. I was like, this is stupid. So I just randomly quit drinking, and I was like, you know what? Like, I think it's time. Like, I need something in my life, and like Jesus was calling me, you know. So like, I could just feel it. Like, you know, it just randomly hit me, like church, going to church. So I started going to church and praying, and you know, as a lot of people go through, initially, it's you'll go back to what you were used to. So I went back to the church and I'm like, I still don't understand these sermons. Like, this is making no sense to me. I don't understand these sermons. So I kind of started like boycotting church again, like just not going. You know, I didn't shop around. And I say shop around because I think everybody should shop around and find the church that fits you, where you feel like a family and where you feel welcome. You shouldn't just settle with any church, just like anything else. And, so then I started dating another girl, and I was breaking up with this girl, going to church, not going to church, started dating another girl, working full time at a coffee shop at the time. And I was actually moving stuff from my old house that I was moving out of into my new place, and I was over there, and the phone rang, and at that time it was a landline, and the caller ID popped up, and it said it was my dad. So I like answer the phone, and I'm like, oh hey dad, how's it going? And the voice on the other line was like, is this Tyson? I'm like, yeah. And like, oh, this is Deputy whoever with with the Meade County Sheriff's Office. I'm like, okay. And like, can you come over to your dad's house? And I'm like, well, sure, but like, why? Well, there's been an accident. And I'm like, well, what do you mean an accident? Like, my dad had like a little hobby farm, so it's like, initially, like, first thing in my head was suicide, right? Like I'm like, what do you mean some kind of accident? I'm like freaking out. But then like, I'm kind of like, well, maybe like something happened with the tractor. Like if they're not telling me like it's serious, like maybe something happened with the tractor, whatever. He's like, well, we just really, your stepmom would really like you to come be out here. And I'm like, okay, I gotta know like what's going on. Like, what am I walking into? So he told me your dad committed suicide, and we need you to come out here and identify him so I called my mom. I said, yep. And I picked up the phone. I called my mom. She said, hey, son. I was like, Dad effing killed himself. And she's like, what? And like, I was messed up, and so I was like, I'm going to go out there. On the way there, I try to call my sister, and I tell my sister, and I try to call my brother. Couldn't get a hold of him. My sister's pregnant at the time, and it's with my dad's first grandchild, and she did not live here, so he had not seen my sister pregnant. And she was like 7 months pregnant at the time. And so I go out to my dad's, and like I literally, like, I don't want to get too deep on this. Like I definitely can, but there's so much more story. I literally had talked to my dad the day before and asked him if he needed any help out on the farm. He's like, no, I'll see you this weekend for we got together on Sundays and ate chili and stuff. And so like I had no clue, nothing. Like there's no signals, no nothing. And so I drove out there, and like lights, ambos, everything all over. Granted, this was a 20-minute drive, and like I just go to where the ambulance is and where everybody's at, and it's like, you got the whatever they call it, the heart rhythm, like tape all over the place. I walk in the barn, and like rope from the Raptors cut off, still around my dad's neck, bruises, all that stuff. He's still got the like shocker things on him and everything. And they're just like, is this your dad? And I'm just standing there in awe. I'm just like, my dad was the toughest guy that I knew in the world. And here he is laying on the ground with heart rhythm tape all around, a big bruise right across his neck with a noose tied around his neck still. Like, like, I don't need to describe that anymore, but that was just like shock. Like I didn't break down and cry, nothing. It was just like shock. And I went in the house, was with my stepmom, and I just trying to get a hold of family, and I remember calling like my grandma, my aunt, my uncle. Is like I was the one, like my stepmom was so distraught with everything. Like I was the one that had to do everything, and I don't know that I've ever still like fully processed it, at this point. Like I've never like broke down and like done anything about it, and I don't feel like I need to. But like I went to work the next day, my boss comes in, he's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, he's like, your mom called me. I was like, oh. He's like, yeah, you need to take the week off. I'm like, okay. But I didn't know what to do with myself for that week, like I had no idea what to do. Like, what do you want me to do? Go sit at home and like, and so like that was the 9th suicide in our family. And that was in 2008. And thankfully there hasn't been one since, but that's like a big moment in my life, because it's very, for me, like I am determined, 100% determined that I surround myself with people that care about me and know me enough to know that, yeah, it's extremely hard to see signs, but if anything happens, that they're there and they know, like, you're not acting like yourself. Like, let's talk, like, and to get it out of me. And then I know myself well enough to know, like, I'm not depressed, but I'm on antidepressants because I'm going to take precautionary steps. In my family history, any doctor will put me on antidepressants. I'm well enough aware to know that when my 8-year-old daughter walks around and says, I hate this and I hate that and I hate you, that she needs to be talking to a counselor because it's not going to do anything but benefit her. So my 8-year-old daughter's in counseling once a week for nothing other than the fact of she told me she hates me and she told me that she wants to die once. And so I was like, I am like, this is it. Like I even talked to her about eating healthy, not for her health. And this is the sad part. I don't talk to my daughter about eating healthy for her health. I talked to her about eating healthy because I'm afraid she's going to be fat like I was and grow up getting made fun of and commit suicide. Like girls and the world we live in, that's this world. This is what's going to make me cry is talking about my kid, because girls are so judged in this world and in school. And she already comes home and says, kids make fun of her. Kids call her stupid. Kids call her a poopy head. And she is super sensitive. The last thing I need is somebody telling her that she's fat and that she's ugly. And like she feels like she has to wear a dress because the only way she's pretty is to wear a dress. And that pisses me off. And so like I work with her on all the time of like, you're pretty no matter what. And she'll be like, do you think I'm getting fat? And I'll tell no, all the time. No, like fat isn't an option. We are who we are. We need to be who we are and be happy with what we have. And I try to hammer that home with her, but like now I'm talking about parenting, so, I kept going about life or whatever. And, I got laid off of my job and I had nothing, like I got laid off of my job. I didn't manage my money right to that point in my life. And so I was broke. I owed a lot of people a lot of money and I had no job. So what did I do? I called up mom at 25 years old. Hey, mom. Yeah, I lost my job and I got no money to pay my bills. And, my mom's the type of person that's like, you manage your money, you have health insurance, you do what you need to do, and you make it work. And now I'm calling my mom saying, I got nothing. I'm 25 years old. I fucked up. Sorry about my language. It's part of the story. And so I went and moved in my mom's basement at 25 years old. My mom's basement with nothing. I found my job that I have now, or for the company that I work for now. And I'm not going to say it just because I don't like representing the company this way. And most of you know who it is anyway. If you don't, it's the same company Mo works for. I found that job and got hired on there, and they shipped me away for 30 days to California. And I was like, man, I'm going for 30 days. I don't have $1 to my name. Like, how am I going to support myself for 30 days? Like, yeah, they're paying for my hotel and my flight, but I got to eat. And like, what happens if I'm taking like some boxers, but like, what happens if I poop myself or something? I got to go buy a new pair of boxers. What happens if I step in a puddle and I got to go buy a new pair of socks? Like, what happens? And, so I asked my mom, I was like, can I just have $100 to go? And she's like, no, you're on your own. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So my mom and I got in a huge fight about that. I was like, you're not going to loan your son $100 to go get this career started. Like, I was so mad. So I went and did that thing, and it's a brainwashing. I mean, as you go to a new hire training with a corporation, that's their whole point, to send you away for 30. Hey, the whole point of sending you away for 30 days is to brainwash you, to make you corporate. Like, that's what the whole training was, is you're representing the company in everything that you do. And that's why I won't wear company stuff in any of my videos or say who I work for. Like, a lot of people know, and I'll say it at times, but it's because they brainwashed you to think like anywhere you go, no matter what you're doing, if you're wearing that uniform or people know who you work for, you're representing the company in everything that you do. And so I've believed that you're always representing. But when I was in California for training, I went to church with some classmates. We were there for 30 days. They wanted to go to church. There's nothing else to do. I went and I was like, wow, so this is what a non-Lutheran church is like. Like, this is what, like, what are you talking about? The church has drums. Like, are you kidding me? Like, where, like, they have drums? I thought it was an organ. Like, where's the organ? I could, and I couldn't figure it out. I was like, why are people dancing and clapping? Like, like we're supposed to be sitting there singing these hymns, And so that was kind of like the moment, but, like that, I was just like, this is what's been missing with my church life. This is why, like, the pastor went up there in jeans and a shirt, and he spoke in language from his life and the things that made sense to me that I could relate to. And I was like, this is what I've been missing. This is it. Like this, I got to find this back home. And I came back home, started working, for work and just working my way up. Met Aubrey's mom. We got married really, really quick. Like 6 months after dating, which I guess I'm kind of known for that, I guess. But and then like a year later, she got pregnant with Aubrey. And while this was going on, my corporation was going through a huge change up. So like I had just kind of gotten into this good church, and my corporation was going through this huge change up. I'm the new person. Everybody else did not like what was going on from the old company to the new company, so they quit. So it's down to me. I'm the only employee in this corporation in the city. So I'm working open and close every day, trying to hire people. In that meantime, I didn't have time to go to church. My wife cheated on me. My whole world basically came down, crashing down again. Like, yeah, I'm making tons of money, but my wife's cheating on me because I'm not home enough. She's pregnant with my kid, which now brings doubts into my mind of, is it my kid? And so we just wake up every day and do our thing until Aubrey is born. And then, it was like the whole, do I need a DNA test? Do I not? And I chose the route of believing that she was mine. And, I had a different job opportunity within the same company to move across the state. And I'm like, fresh start again. We're going to go up and move across the country or across the state. And so we did. And she was a stay-at-home mom because daycare was expensive. And, so now I'm an assistant manager, same company, fresh start. We're going to church. And she just would not get into church. She would not do it. So I was going to church by myself. I had the idea of like, man, leader of the house, like I got to be bringing Christ to her somehow. But she just did not want any of it. And I was just like, the only thing I can do is pray for her. So in that 2 years that we lived in that town, I was in Chicago a lot, weeks at a time for work. Cheated on me again. And I got, a job offer to go run my own store in this other town. And as we were getting closer to that happening, the plan was like a couple months out because they want you time to move and stuff. As that was happening, she's getting into drugs. We're living in a college town. She's young, didn't get her childhood. She got pregnant at 19 with Aubrey. And so she didn't have a college life. We're in the state college town. She starts hanging out with those kids, gets into drugs. A week before we're supposed to move, she's not coming home. I'm like, I got to go to work. Like, it's 9 a.m. Like, I got to go to work. Where are you? I'm on my way home. Like, didn't come home the night before. So obviously I'm furious. But she come home drunk. I'm leaving my kid with her so I can go to work to do my job. When it came time to move, she's like, I'm not going with you. I was like, I don't care at this point. Like, I got to report to work tomorrow in this new town that's 5 hours away. I took Aubrey and I left. I was like, I ain't leaving her here with a drug addict, So took Aubrey, went to the apartment. We had nothing. I left everything for Jamie at the house. So she had stuff because I'm not that type of person. Like, I was like, you don't have a job. You don't have anything. I ain't got the way to move it right now. I just have to be at work tomorrow. So I went there, got into the apartment that we had rented. Aubrey and I slept on the floor in the apartment that night. I went to work the next day, took my kid took Aubrey with my first day of work, called my boss, said, I'm at work for my first day and I don't have daycare lined up. Like, call your boss and tell him that on the first day that you're reporting to a new job. My kid's with me because I don't have daycare. He's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, 100% transparency, dude. I had to leave my wife in the town. She was into drugs. This is what happened. I will find daycare. Give me a couple of days. I prayed about it, and lo and behold, my phone rings. And it's like, yeah, this is Judy. I heard you were looking for daycare. I'm like, what? Like I have no idea how this lady found out that I needed daycare, but I prayed about it for a couple of days. My phone rings. I answer. It's Judy saying I got a daycare opening. I'm like, amen. Thank you, God. And that moment I was like, nothing's going to change how I am. Like I'm going to dig in deeper and deeper and deeper. And so I found a church there. Things started, my life started coming together. I'm making good money. The store that I was running was in the drains. It was the worst store. It was on the closure list. Within a year, I had that store at the number 2 ranked store in the country. I got a bunch of awards as a store manager from high up corporate, nationwide corporate stuff. And I was so proud. But I could not live in this town. It was so small, and it was, but I had God to thank for all of that. And so then all of a sudden it was like my boss was leaving. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to work, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do, like, my boss was leaving. I'm getting a new boss. I've heard horrible things about him. I was like, I want to follow my boss because I liked him. You want to follow your manager. You want to go where your leader is going, where they're going. And so I called him up. I'm like, where are you going? He's like, I'm going to this other company that's a subsidiary of our main company. I was like, he's like, oh, I'll keep you in mind. I'm like, yeah, you know what people say when they're keeping you in mind. So like weeks pass by. He calls me up. He's like, your parents live in Rapid City, right? And I haven't seen my parents in years. And I was like, yeah. He's like, why don't you just head on out to Rapid and I'll get a position out there for you? I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm recruiting you. Go out to Rapid. You're going to have Aubrey's grandparents there to be daycare, And so I call mom. I'm like, can I live in your basement again? But this time, totally different scenario. Mom's like, yep. So I go out and I'm now 30 years old, living in my mom's basement again with my 3-year-old daughter, and I mean, that was just the changing point from there. And my mom and I fixed our relationship. My stepdad and I fixed our relationship based on all that. They got to see personally the father that I was, but that's what turned me into like being alone in a town with your kid at 2 years old. As a man, like you ain't got no choice. You don't have no choice to go out with your buddies at night or to do this. Like that kid is dependent on you at 2 years old for everything. And so on the weekends, there was no daycare on the weekends. It was the state capitol. So it's all state workers. Everybody shuts down at 5 o'clock at night. Nothing's open on the weekends. My job was I had to go in and talk to my people. Like we had Saturday meetings. I had to go in there. So what happened? Aubrey became the store mascot, right? She would be coming in there with me. There's people to this day, that was 5 years ago, that still know Aubrey from going into the store that day. And in fact, I ran across somebody that worked there at that time who's now out in this city. And she was like, how's Aubrey doing? And it's like, you haven't seen Aubrey in 5 years and you're asking about Aubrey from coming into the store at Saturday meetings, which was super cool. So then I moved out. I've done my own single dad thing for years and years. Met Maddie on Tinder, actually. And we, did our relationship thing. And, I'll just cut to the chase. Everybody wants to hear about the divorce. And so Maddie and I, we're just two different people, big time. Like on camera, man, we were tight. We were tight in life. We were each other's best friends. And she would tell you that to this day. We were each other's best friends. We were each other's best friends so much that we became codependent on each other. And that pushed Christ out of being our number one, and we became each other's number one, and that's what we needed. And so when I would be busy or I would have to do something, I travel for work, and so when I'm traveling for work, what does somebody do that's dependent on something that's not there is they get seeked out other places. And Maddie's a very pretty girl, and so she had people wanting to have her attention, and the attention that she got felt good. Um, so same thing. I mean, I've been married to two very pretty women, and both times it turns into I'm not giving them the attention that they're needing, so they end up getting the attention somewhere else. And Maddie never cheated on me that I know of. I believe her in that, but not physically, but emotionally. And I caught her. I saw her, talking with guys in Snapchat and all that stuff. So we had conversations about it like adults, and I mean, there's a lot along the way. She was young. She was 25. I'm 35. Right? We had a 10-year difference. We had two different points in our lives. She was trying to figure out what she wants, and there was four times in her marriage. Aubrey, please stop. I'm almost done. There was 4 times in our marriage that we sat down and she's like, I'm leaving. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I thought everything was fine yesterday. And she's like, nope, I'm leaving. My mom sent me some money. I got an apartment rented, and I'm just like, what? Like, what are you talking about? So that happened once. One time she told me she was leaving and she went to Oklahoma where her mom was by the time she got there. I don't know if you guys remember, but last year in June, I went to Denver and I told everybody, that Maddie and I are going to Denver for fun, on just like a little getaway. No, we were going to Denver because she ran to Oklahoma and she decided to come home. And the cheapest way to get her home was to drive to Denver and pick her up. So we have, like pictures and this date night thing all going on in Denver. And it was really me going to get my wife back who left me, of like, no, you're coming home. I'm going to travel across the country down to Denver to get you, to bring you home. And finally, on the last time, there was a time after that where she did the same thing. And then finally, on the last time after that, is like, we've done the counseling thing. I've asked you to be 100% in. I've asked you not to talk to your mom about our marriage because her mom is very persuasive and she's a persuaded person. She, if she goes and says, this is what's going on, her mom is just like, oh, go get out of that situation. It was never fight for that situation. It was always get out of that situation. And I'm not talking anything bad. I do not do that. Maddie's, if anybody sees this and knows Maddie or whatever, like, Maddie and I had a very, very calm ending. Like, she was my best friend, and I still love her to death this day as what she has done for Aubrey. Aubrey knows Maddie as her mom. And she stepped up big time to be that person for Aubrey. And, after she said last time, like, I don't know, I just initiated the divorce, I think, you can't, 5 times in the last 2 years, you haven't decided that you wanted to stay with me. You wanted to be with me. And so I was like, maybe that's what you need to do is go find yourself and what you need to do. Like, I am at a loss. Like, what kind of man am I to continue to talk you into staying here when you don't really want to be here? Because if you really wanted to be here, we wouldn't be on the 5th time of this happening. And so I said, the door is open. I'm not going to ask you to stay. I will help you move. If that's what you want to do, I will help you find an apartment. I will sign the divorce papers, however you want to sign them. I just want you to be happy. And so we did. And when it got time, to sign the divorce papers, she asked to meet up the day beforehand to talk about if this is really what we wanted to do. And we talked about it, and we decided to press forward. And then after that, like the second the papers were signed, we were best friends again. Like, hey, do you want to go to lunch? Yep, let's go to lunch. Hey, can I see Aubrey? Yep. And hey, when you bring Aubrey over, we'd sit and talk for 4 hours when I'd drop Aubrey off, and we would text all the time. And it was just talking as friends. Until she started dating somebody. When she started dating somebody, it was, I can't talk to you anymore. Why? Well, because I'm dating somebody. I'm like, so we can't be friends because you're dating somebody? And then, get into some other situations with what was happening. And it turned in, she saw Aubrey. We had visitation set up that didn't have to be set up, but I trusted her. I trusted her with Aubrey. Aubrey knew her as mom. I said, who am I to take that away from either one of them? Because that's who Aubrey knows as her mom. Maddie wants to be that person. Why would I take that away? Out of vengeance? Out of being angry because of our marriage? No. Like, that's not, you don't do that as a father. You know? So I let her have her. There was things that happened along the last, from April when we got divorced to June, where I would just had to think to myself, like, how do you do this as a person, you know? And so I had to go to Maddie's house, tell Aubrey that we're leaving, and take her with, kicking and screaming and crying. Do not take me away from mom. Mom, you know, she's screaming. I'm the bad guy for taking her away, but she was not safe. She was not in a safe situation. And I had to go home and tell her, you know, sit down with her and look her in the eye and say, you're not going back until Maddie gets stuff figured out. And, you know, she heard me tell Maddie, like, when you get your stuff figured out, and I feel like it's safe for you feel like it's safe for Aubrey to be here, call me. We'll talk. Until then, you're not going to see Aubrey. And so I had to tell Aubrey, you know, Aubrey heard that. I had to tell Aubrey it's not safe to be there right now. She doesn't know why. She doesn't know why it's not safe. She's just, you know, so, well, why isn't it safe, Dad? Maddie's just not making the correct decisions that I feel like are safe for your well-being. And, you know, for a while, it was just, Dad, I really miss her. Has she called me? Has she called you? Has she called yet? No, Aubrey. She hasn't. So it's just me and you again. Am I going to find a new mom? You know, and just these heart-wrenching, destroying, going to bed at night, like, I really miss her. Can I text her? And, you know, they used to text and FaceTime and stuff, and those stopped. And it got to a point where I had to delete her number out of Aubrey's iPod because it was a text message when she felt it was convenient that would get, like, I just would get Aubrey to the point of being okay, and she would text her. And then I was the bad guy again because the text message was, hey, Aubrey, I miss you and I love you. And Aubrey would say, oh, I miss you and love you too. When can I see you? And Maddie would reply with, you have to talk to your dad about that. He's the one that won't let us see each other. And I'm just like, I can't have that happening to Aubrey, because then Aubrey comes to me, why won't you let me see my mom again? You know, and it's like, what Maddie doesn't realize is I'm protecting Maddie's image to Aubrey by not telling her what is going on, other than she's not making the right decisions. If I told Aubrey the decisions when she gets older, if they make that relationship better again, Aubrey will hate her for making those decisions and picking these decisions over being a mom to Aubrey. And we've talked about it a couple times, Maddie and I, since then. And, you know, my whole defense is there isn't anything in this world that I would not do to be a father to Aubrey. Ever. As a parenthood is 24/7. I don't care if you have custody or you don't have custody. You're the primary custodian. You're not. You are a parent 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if that phone rings, you would come crawling. You cannot say that. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you'll only watch her 2 days a week because she has literally told me, I will not watch her these 2 days a week. These are my days. I'm like, bullshit. I'm like, what? Like, I don't care what days you have her, but to come to me and say these 2 days I will not have her because I need 2 days to go out on dates. Like, I don't give a crap what you're doing. You find time as a parent. Like, your kid comes first. I mean, you're lucky that I'm flexible with the days, but like, to come and say that, you know, and then like Aubrey tried to call her once and she didn't answer and Aubrey was crying and I text her and I was like, Aubrey is trying to get a hold of you and she's crying. She never answered me. Oh, sorry, I was out last night doing things. And I'm like, your daughter calls you. I don't care what you're doing unless you're at work or in the hospital and you can't answer the phone. You're out with your friends. answer the freaking phone and talk to her real quick, because I'm on this end dealing with her crying, missing you, and you couldn't pick up the freaking phone to say, hey girl, I love you. I hope you're having a good night. Mommy misses you. I'll see you soon. Let me call you back later. Like, you couldn't even take 5 minutes to go to the bathroom and make a call to your kid. Mm-mm. So, it just got to me in my head to be a situation that was like, she isn't her real mom. Do I stop that situation now? Or do I let it continue to go on and break her heart in 2 years? Or let it be a situation where Maddie really crushes her and walks out in her life. She's already had one mom do that. Her real mom hasn't seen her since her 3rd birthday. And that's by choice. She lives 5 miles from my house. And that's by her choice. She's never reached out. She knows where I live. I know where she lives. But it's not my job to force her to be a mom. She wants to see Aubrey. She can text me and ask me to see her. She never has. She's texted me asking her to waive child support. She's texted me saying she's going to go to jail. She doesn't pay child support. Can I pay it for her? She never texts me and say, can I see Aubrey? I got one thing to say to that woman. If I ever see her, it's not going to be good verbally because she hasn't seen the kid. She has an 8-year-old daughter she hasn't seen in 5 years, who lives within walking distance. How do you do that as a human being? So anyway, I've pushed that one aside. As like, you will never, ever, ever be in her life, no matter what, ever. If Aubrey ever wants to know who her real mom is, I will tell her to wait till she's 16 or 18 and seek it out on her own self, because that person is not qualified, does not deserve to even know who Aubrey is. But if you want the info, here's her info. You can make that choice yourself when you're 16. And as far as Maddie, it's been a couple months. I hope she gets her stuff together and reaches out, but she also knows it's a time clock. As I told her, I was like, the more time that passes that you continue choosing yourself over Aubrey, the less likely it is for the situation, because you're not her real mom. The less likely it is for me to open that door back up to that situation, because I'm gonna find somebody else. I am dating somebody right now, or seeing somebody, and they're gonna have a relationship, Aubrey and her. And so, man, what's on my heart and in my mind right now is, if I were to die, and this is dark, but it's something that a parent thinks about, or as a divorced parent needs to think about. If you're divorced and you have kids, you need to think about this. If I were to die, what happens to Aubrey? She legally goes to the person who abandoned her 5 years ago, who wants me to waive child support and hasn't paid a penny in 5 years. She legally would be given to her, that person. What? So what can I do about it? Nothing. I've tried. I've gone to lawyers that said South Dakota is a mom state. You cannot legally take her rights away unless somebody's willing to take them. I say, perfect, my mom will take them. And they're like, no, you have to be married to the person. I'm like, your stupid laws are going to put an amazing kid in the hands of somebody dangerous if I were to die today.
Wow.
So then there's that, okay, Maddie wants to be a mom. Aubrey knows her as mom. We're not married anymore. She cannot legally adopt Aubrey. It won't happen. We talked about adoption when we were married. Maddie's response was, I want Aubrey to make that decision. I said, BS. She's 4 years old. She cannot make that decision. She's not going to make that decision until she's 14 or 15 and understands what it means. And she's like, well, I'd really want her to make that decision. I said, we're her parents until she's 18 years old. That's what we do. We make the decision that is in the best interest of the child until she's 18 years old. The best decision right now is for her to be adopted by somebody that is going to be there for her, that is stable and sane. And Maddie said no. And then as soon as we got divorced, she's like, I want to adopt Aubrey. I'm like, too late now. you know. So it's a rock and a hard place, because it's like, if I meet somebody or something gets serious and I ever get married again, I have that baggage that comes with me before I ever get married is, would you ever adopt my kid? Because I do not want to die, and nobody that is competent have the rights to Aubrey. And I even asked, I said, can I write it in my will that where I want Aubrey to go? And my lawyer said, you can write it in there, but that doesn't mean the judge is going to take it, because if her real mom shows up to court because she found out you died and wants to claim the rights to Aubrey, they will give it to her. If she's there and she has the rights. So that's messed up on so many freaking levels. So, like, that is part of baggage that comes with me right now. Is that's something that I have to be able to comprehend and push off onto somebody. Not push off, but have that conversation with somebody when we start dating. Is like, if this gets serious and we start talking marriage, we're going to be talking adoption as well. That comes with it. At this point, it comes with it, because I want to know, like, if I'm going to marry somebody, that they're going to marry Aubrey too.
Amen.
Because I want her to go to somebody that's safe and not a drug addict, and will protect her until she's 18. Whether I die tomorrow or I die when she's 17, I don't care. I want somebody to be able to be there and fight for her to keep her from her mom, her real mom, who is now 27 years old, living with her mother because she can't support herself or pull her head out of her butt. So I feel like I've had a couple testimonies in there that continue to bring me closer and closer to Christ. And I think throughout trials and tribulations, everybody finds the little bit of a distance where, oh man, I didn't do my daily prayer today, or I didn't do this today. And that doesn't make you a bad Christian. That doesn't make you a non-believer. Being a believer is believing in God Almighty, your creator, believing that when I start going awry, that pulling out this book that I have sitting right over here can lead me back where I need to be going. When I see myself going down the wrong path, that I can read some passages and pull myself back. And Ephesians is a huge factor into my life, because it basically is the rule book, the guidelines on how to be a Christian human being, how to be a family, and how to treat other people. And so when you intend to give thanks every day, you intend to pray every day, you intend to go to church, and realistically, to be a believer, I think there's differences between being a believer and being a follower. And I think believing is like, yeah, I believe in God and I know some of the things. I went to Sunday school and I know some of this stuff. Following is actually doing it. It's thinking about it. It's knowing that, like, I'm going to use this one as an example, but it's just my personal thing. It's nothing against any of you guys or anybody in the chat. The Bible does not say anything, to my knowledge, because it's a big book. To my knowledge, it does not say anything about not drinking alcohol. They drink wine in the Bible. They drink wine. It says don't drink to an oblivion where you're not making smart choices, where the alcohol is controlling your brain. For that reason, I will not get drunk. I will have a glass of wine, but I will not have two, because I thoroughly believe God wants me to make the best decisions possible, and that I cannot do that while intoxicated. It's just a belief I have. Same thing with weed. I mean, if weed was legal here, would I smoke some? I don't know. Maybe I might eat an edible. I love brownies, so maybe I'd eat one. I don't know. But I wouldn't do it to alter my state of mind. I believe in neighbors. I believe in being good to people. Doesn't matter which Bible you read, which religion you are, they all want you to be good to people. They all want you to thank God. They all want you to be respectful. I love the 10 Commandments. Something that I think as you learn in Sunday school as a child, you go away from the older and older you get. And it's like, I'm a 35-year-old man and better honor my mother and father. They're still my mom and my dad. You know, don't cheat, don't steal. Perfect. But there's a lot of things that is hard as a Christian to take, but things that really sink in with me. And a lot of those things are when somebody slaps you on one chink off from the other. You know, that's hard. That's hard as a man. That's hard as a human being to let somebody insult you and turn and take it. Because what do we want to do? We want to defend ourselves. We want to defend ourselves. We want to stand up for ourselves. Turn the other cheek. Let them do their thing. It's like I always say with bullies. You want a bully to keep bullying? React. React. They'll keep bullying because that's what they're trying to do. You want a bully to stop bullying? Stop reacting.
I agree.
Wonder why hate videos go viral? Because people watch them. Stop watching them. Stop reacting. You don't want the bully at lunch to take your lunch money? Stop cowering. Give him your lunch money and here you go. Just walk up to him and take it before he asks for it. He'll stop. Bullies bully for reactions. You get hate comments on your videos, say, thanks, brother. I appreciate you watching my video. They will not respond. Trust me, I've been there. You call them, you say, you defend yourself, you fight back. They're going to have another rebuttal to that comment because they're getting what they want. They're getting their attention. I am so sorry that we're 17 minutes over, but you're giving them what they want and what they need. And that's one of the things that I try to surround myself with is people that are seeing me get worked up and will stop me. Because we can get worked up and react. It happened to me last year in this community. I got worked up about something. I reacted. It went viral throughout the community. And half the community now does not like me and talks behind my back. I don't care. Do your thing. But it's a mistake that I made because I didn't have people to help stop me. And so when I see Dave getting worked up about something, I see Chris in a live stream saying something. And this is just, I'm saying those two names because it's happened. Like, stop now. Just stop. You're not going anywhere good with this. I've literally seen David in a live stream saying something negative and text him and said, stop talking. Close your mouth. And then he didn't look at his phone, so I just kept sending a period, blowing him up until he looked at his phone to stop. Because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't but make you look like an idiot.
Yeah. So I appreciate that because you've done that to me before. Well, not tell me to stop, but say, hey, I saw something that's not you. Let's talk about it. Would you say you're that kind of person in the community? And who would be your person that tells you to stop when they see something, that's not you? Do you have that person?
I did. Yeah, I did. I don't know at this point right now if I do, but I did have that person. I like to be that person. I have to know the person, right? Like, I have to know the person when Dave, and I'm just going to say names and what's going on because we all were there. When Dave was making rant videos and doing his thing, I didn't necessarily say anything about it because to me, he spoke a lot of truth because I saw a lot of the things that Dave saw. I was the butt of a lot of things Dave saw.
What?
There was things that I also did not like that, please do not unplug the camera and be careful. We're going to eat soon, I promise. There's a lot of things that I didn't like or agree with, but at the same time, see what happens. Work just no out of nowhere. At the same time, it's one of those things where when you react to the bully, they get more fire. So I felt like the situation was better. I had talked to Dave one-off. We talked personally one-on-one, and I tried to play the card of not egging him on to do anything, but letting him have his opinion. And if that's what he wanted to do, that's what he wanted to do. I definitely believe that there's ways to do the things that you want to do and get the points you want to get across without trashing somebody or doing something. But I also think there's ways of talking to people one-on-one and trying to handle things not publicly. You don't have to handle it publicly, but I'm transparent. I will if I have to, if I need to. I mean, if we can't handle it behind the scenes and it needs to be transparent to the whole world, I mean, there's nothing I won't be transparent about. That, like, I could talk about last summer all I want to talk about, but half the people here weren't even around last summer. So they don't know what's going on. They came into the community and knowing no idea what beef was last summer or anything that happened. So I like to be that person for people because I've been there. So when I see animosity between people, I just want to stop it. And when I see somebody going down a path that I've been down, I think there's so much to this community, and when you first come into this community, you're like, it's all love and hugs and games. Everybody supports each other. And then when you get a little bit deeper in, and you realize that there is some animosity at times, and we're all men. We all have testosterone. We're all gonna bounce out and say something stupid at some point. Nope, nobody peed. And so. You get people like, wow, well, I didn't necessarily think the community was like that. And you bring new people in, you bring somebody new in and they do something different. Oh, that's not how the community does it. And it's like, this person didn't know. So you kind of just try to let them know how the community is. Like, please, like, don't step on people's toes. Like, just soak it up for a little bit. Did you guys hear that? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that was an 8-year-old girl. Like,
I want to give her a high five.
She should be proud of that.
well, she'll ask me, what was that on a score?
8.8.
Put that one on the FRS.
8.8, done. Sealed.
8.8, you got room for improvement. So, yeah, I like to help people any way I can. I still feel like, I mean, there's days, like, I was just in a live stream the other day when Joe Beat Life was talking. He's like, yeah, I have companies reach out to me, and I'm like, that's great. Like, I'm super proud of that and proud of you. But I'm trying to figure out why companies don't reach out to me. Is it because the faithful ranker score and they're afraid to be scored? Is it because I have 6,000 followers but Dan gets a lot that reach out to him? What? Sure. And so, like, I try to reach out or think, like, maybe companies come in and they see, maybe they have that scary, like, mindset type of thing of, like, scoring or like, I'm starting a petition to get Johnny a collab. Like,
yes,
I'm calling all companies out. Like, this man does not have a collaboration, and he needs a collaboration. He has so many amazing scent ideas. Companies, reach out to Johnny Grooms.
Yes,
do it. He's
somebody do it.
And he needs a Grooms collab. And it needs to be named Grooms Drake. And then he has to grow his beard back. So, like, I love when people reach out to me and ask for advice, and I think people are afraid to. And I've said publicly many times, like, don't be afraid to reach out to me. Am I the best at responding? Not all the time, but if you go to my Instagram profile and you just hit call me, like, it gives you my phone number, like, right there. Like, if you text me and tell me who it is, like, you're gonna get a response before Instagram. Half the time Instagram doesn't tell. Like, half the time I don't even, like, see anything. And then I'm just going to go peruse Instagram. And it's like, wow, you got 12 notifications in here? I'm like, oh, you sent me a message yesterday? Huh, I didn't even know. Because sometimes if you're watching like YouTube on your phone and you get an Instagram message, it doesn't necessarily pop up on your phone. Or it's laying on your counter, you're cooking, you're listening to a YouTube video, you don't hear the Instagram notification, and then you just keep watching, and next thing you know, it's bye. I'll stop taking it forever. Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
So, I don't know. I love talking to people and doing things for the community. And, I'll be on any live stream and that anybody wants me on. If it benefits the live stream at all, perfect. If there's any event that's going on, I want my hand in it somehow because I want to help. I just want to help. And that's when people are like, well, why don't you get paid to do reviews? Because I don't want to. I just want to help. This is my hobby and my passion. And there's other ways to make money. Like I was talking to David the other day. I was like, I was just like, something you could do to make money or get paid is get sponsored. I don't necessarily think every video should be sponsored, but we're doing the Titan series. You got Eric Banholes on a live stream. I'm sure some company would give us $20 to wear their shirt on a live stream with Eric Banholes.
Right.
The more
I'd give you $20 to mention my name.
Yeah, see, there's ways to make money in this world without having to be paid to do a review. Views on YouTube don't make a lot, but oh well, I am hungry. I'm starting this belt probably go up enough. Don't forget, I am reigning, defending two-time eating champion, and I'm ready for the next challenge.
I thought Mo was challenging you to the pizza.
He won't set a date. He backs out. He just talks a big game on a live stream.
All right, here's a bet for the community. Share the word. $50 and anything that you want. A combo from Black Rebel for anybody that defeats Tyson.
$50 and a Black Rebel combo.
That's tempting.
Is that coming from Tevin or
it's coming from me? M.E.
You should put it at
from insert name here.
Yeah,
they don't
insert name.
Purposely Bear is gone. You just send it to collection.
Uh-oh.
But for now, it's from me.
Baby back ribs. You don't want none of this. Baby back ribs. I just demolished 2 racks by myself in 10 minutes the other day.
I thought I could eat a lot, but when I see Tyson, it's just I don't even. Not even the time stuff; it's the quantity stuff. I don't know.
I'll even do well done steak because if it's not timed, I don't care. I'll chow it down.
Yeah. I mean
that time is the only thing I feel confident enough.
I'm tired of seeing Tyson winning.
I can chow down on some Chick-fil-A or some McDonald's, but I don't think I could do it. For whatever reason, I can't do as much as him.
So my Chick-fil-A order is 2 40-piece nuggets and 2 large fries.
2 40-piece nuggets and I thought I ate a lot.
They're not real nuggets. They're this big.
I could do that, but I thought I had a lot tonight. I had 2 chicken sandwiches and then a 4-count strip before I came on the stream, and a milkshake.
Sandwiches?
No, a 4-count strip, 2 chicken sandwiches, a large fry, and then a large cookies and cream milkshake.
And then you get their cookies. Chick-fil-A has such good cookies.
They were out today. At the time that I went, because I got it delivered, so they were out at the time I was placing my the app order.
Yeah, so I went to we don't have a Chick-fil-A here, so I went to Popeyes the other day, and I'm like, yeah, can I get a chicken sandwich? They're like, we're out of chicken. I'm like, what?
You're a chicken place.
You know.
And that's like going on to McDonald's and saying we're out of burgers. Well, and why are you open?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God.
I'd have to practice and train to be able to eat as much as Tyson. I think to challenge him. That's why I haven't done it yet, because I think he would out-eat me.
Sorry, that was half.
Dude.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
I agree with you because I don't know what the Twilight Zone is, so I can agree with you.
You don't know what the Twilight Zone is. You're older than me, and you don't know what the Twilight Zone is.
I'm older than you. I took a shower today, dude. I'm not older than you.
Older you.
What?
Never mind.
You with your older?
It's all right,
and Johnny
Kentucky.
It's the accent, man.
Older.
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 There you go.
Old.
Oda.
There's that L in there.
Do I have an accent? Do you guys?
I hear a Tyson accent. Welcome on into the Faithful Studios. I am Tyson, faithfully bearded, and this is my beard kingdom. Bow down to me, all you peasants.
That is not real. Wait, and you guys are gonna get to see the green screen. Scott thinks it's a green screen. It should
Well, I
be
will say
uploaded.
one of my favorite accents is Ben Taft. That dude's videos crack me up. Just look, what is going on, guys? Oh,
that was perfect. I can't.
that's the best intro.
Other than myself, so I tried so many different intros. I tried to do one today, and it's just like the only thing that flows off my tongue is like, "What is going on? Welcome on into the Faithful Studio." Like that's the only thing that like flows off my tongue. Everything else
It's
is
good because it's true. I mean,
Everything
nobody
else
else has the Faithful Studios, and you used to have a good ending line. Grab your coffee, grab your bang, stroke your mane, and God bless you all. I don't think I hear that anymore.
No, because I do be bearded, be you, and God bless. Like I'm evolving with the time. Like coffee and bang, like people didn't like that anymore. I'm evolving. It's like getting a new backdrop. You know, like grab your coffee, grab your bang. Like what company wants to do that? Like, I mean, I'm supposed to be the eating champion, not the drinking champion.
It doesn't matter. It's still food. Oh, kind of.
Well, yeah.
I like be you better. Like it's a little bit more.
I don't like it.
So I started like taking my devotionals that I was doing from YouTube to podcasting, and so I put them on my podcast. And with that, it was pointed out to me that I wasn't doing as much like devotional and motivational type stuff on my YouTube channel. So that was kind of the reason for that is like I wanted to get like what can I do in my videos to still make them as impactful and ranking as they are. And it's like, well, I can get rid of the coffee and the bang, but still like I want to make it a point to people to be you. Like I've done like devotionals on being you, and I tell people all the time like be you, because that's the only thing that you can do is be who you are and who you were created to be. Trying to be anybody else is not going to get you anywhere. Be who you are. If that's a cursing up and down person that wears cutoff shirts and tells it how it is, then that's Scott. Like that's fine. That's like I don't want Scott to be anybody else other than Scott is. I don't want Matt to ever film outside of his bathroom because that's who he is the bathroom filmer. Like I'm mad that he got Rex in his bathroom, like because that's not him, and so that's I just want people to be who they are, and for us as men to accept everybody as who they are, like if people are more willing to go out and be who they are, and we are willing to accept people who they are instead of trying to make cliques and trying to put people down for who they're being, like that's where that's just where we're trying to mold people into being something that they're not, so that's where I'm just like I want to and stay bearded, that type of stuff, like that's so overplayed. So I just like I just was like be bearded and I wanted to make sure to get the God bless in there. So like for me that just kind of hit home. Like I was actually just sitting in the shower and I was like washing and I looked down and I was just like, oh, be you. Yeah, man, just do your thing. And then I was like, oh, wait, be you, be bearded. Yeah, let's roll with it. And I thought it came off the tongue good. Nobody else was like doing something like that. So I was like, okay, that's a good end line.
I like it.
Yeah, and like Joe was saying, like I hated putting on solo videos. It doesn't feel the same. Like this is the thing. Like Kyle and Joe can never do like them. What they are is split screen. Like realistically, Joe should be split screen right now. They have a freaking collaboration with a split screen butter. It's a
Right.
butter launched last night is split in the tin with two different butters because that's Kyle and Joe.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, so, and Gary, like Gary's like, well, you get mad if I'm nice. Yes. Like, Gary, you're a dick. Like, keep being a dick. Like, that is you. Just be you. Like, I mean that with all the love in the world, Gary. You know I love it.
Oh, you're so honest, and I love it.
Hey,
Like,
honesty is the best policy.
You know, and I think sometimes we get carried away, and I think Tevin is the one that I've told this to, and I've told like one other person about this conversation. I think sometimes as men, we get carried away as buddies, as men, as community, mainly as men. We get carried away, and it's fun. It's absolutely fun to make fun of people. It's fun to joke around and to poke and to bash and to do stupid things. And when we get egged on, we're men, we do stupid things. But there's things that then go too far. And I told Tevin, I was like, we're just truth and transparency. So I'm sorry, Tevin, if this is embarrassing or anything you don't want. I don't know. But I told Tevin, I was like, you got to put a stop to the Strawberry Dream thing. You have to. Because it's going to go on, and that's what you're going to be known as. Like, you have to do it. Like, you have to come out and tell people to stop, because it's getting to where you go into a room and they say Strawberry Dream. And that's what you're going to be known for is a joke. Like, and I don't want that for you.
Yeah.
You deserve better than that. And that's where, like, I have that right now with Tevin, or with Devin. Like, I, like, the child thing, the age thing, it's fun. It's fun to poke, but it's becoming too much. And it's out of respect for Devin. Like, we as a community have to stop and respect Devin for the man that he is. Like, he's not a child. Like, yes, he's young, but I don't want Devin to be 3 years in this community and we're still saying, did your mom let you do that? You know, and talking about apple juice. Like, I've been the butt of jokes. I've been lost respect. Like, I don't want to see anybody else lose respect all for joking or wanting to fit in or to be a joke or to continue the joke going. Like, that's why, like, it's becoming their identity, and I don't want that to become an identity. I don't want Well Done Steaks to become Devin's identity, and I don't want being the kid, being the baby of the beer community to be his identity. I don't want Tevin's identity to be Strawberry Dream. Like, I have too much respect for you guys to where I come out and I literally messaged Tevin and said, you got to put a stop to Strawberry Dream, because it's going to become that, you know? And so, and I just don't want Devin to learn. And the thing that we think about is, like, between us guys, like, it's all a joke, but we have to think about, and it's fun, right? Like, I know Devin probably doesn't care, and Tevin didn't care, but to the people that are coming into the community, and maybe it's somebody's first time in the stream, and they see everybody talking crap about how young Devin is, like, he instantly has zero respect with this new person. Zero. Because we're not respecting him as his peers. And yes, we do respect him. We comment on his videos. He knows we respect him. We talk to him one-off. But people from the outside that aren't in, that we're trying to bring into this community, they don't see that. They don't know it's a joke. And I look at it so many different ways. Like, when Matt, no BS, comes into a room, nobody does anything but say, hey, Matt, what's going on? Like, nobody gives him crap. It's all respect and love. When Dan comes in here, it's, hey, Teach, hey Dan. It's nothing but love. It's not like, hey, Beef Jerky, how you doing? You know, it's love and respect, because people respect him. Everybody deserves the same type of respect, right? Like, we're all human beings and we're all men. You guys deserve the respect. You should be called Tevin. You should be called Devin or b-ball player, like big baller b-ball player or Tevin, insert new name, because we don't know what your name is going to be. That's how we should be known, and we should have the same respect as new reviewers and new people in the community, whether we like Well Done Steak or not, as the people that have paved the way as Matt and Dan. Like, we should have the same level of respect because we're men and human beings. And that's what I really wanted to say about that.
And I appreciate that. At first when you told me that, I was just like, "What's with Tyson? Like, why is he busting my balls over this?" And then now it was a difference of perspective. So I do appreciate that, and I do realize that. And I'm trying to get it to stop. I've been trying to say, Strawberry Dream is done, but it just keeps going, and it's just a time thing. Once I stop, talking about it or doing whatever, it'll all just go away.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you stop and then it'll go away. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the thing is, like, it could be really quick you can develop a reputation really, really easily and really, really quickly off of one night or one live stream or one comment about a well done steak, but that becomes you and now your reputation for a really long time. And it can be, literally just a one-time thing, but that becomes your reputation for a really long time. And it kind of takes a lot longer to break that than it did to make that.
And the thing is that nobody knows. Like, nobody has ever, and correct me if I'm wrong, Devin, but I don't think anybody has ever reached out to Devin and said, "Does it bother you that everybody calls you Well Done Steak?"
I haven't.
I guarantee probably nobody has, because that's what he's become known for, because he did a Well Done Steak challenge and because everybody talks to him about it. And it might destroy him on the inside. Maybe he cries himself to sleep at night because everybody talks about his well done steak and how awful it is. Like, you don't really know how anybody feels about what we are calling them. That's just my 2 cents on it. I just want everybody to be respected the same way as everybody else. Right? Like, and Johnny, like, the serial killer thing has to stop. Like, it has to stop. In my opinion, I'm going to throw the "in my opinion" in there, because I don't think Johnny appreciates it. I don't know if he does or not. Maybe we can have an after dark tonight. But imagine a new person coming in and everybody's like, "Oh, hey, there's the serial killer." Like, what does this person think? They instantly have no respect for Johnny. I just think those weird nicknames like that have to stop. Like, the nicknames can be our channel names, like, I don't know. Like, Johnny got the serial killer mantra from like 2 photos that he posted, and he had like just the way the photo was, he had some like crazy eyes and he looked like a serial killer. I made a comment on it, and I think he even had the serial killer before I did something with it. But I even said something about it. Somebody else had said something about it. And now it's like, anytime Johnny shows up, it's like serial killer. And I don't appreciate it as another content maker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very true.
Yeah.
I'm done now. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. That's why I brought you on the show, but I mean, it's good to hear your perspectives, because at first I didn't see it. Like, when you told me, I'm like, whatever, I accepted it. We continued the conversation. But when I started to think about it, get that adult side of me and start thinking about it, I was just like, you know what? He's probably right, and I need to do something about it. It's good to hear the truth, and especially coming from you, because I don't think you've ever bullcrapped anybody. And this is Tyson's 2 cents. Anytime that you're going to throw out something, wisdom, I'm going to call it Tyson's 2 cents. And sometimes you need to pick up those 2 cents and listen to it.
I think I've been trained, and I've done a lot of research and study on how to be a leader. Read a lot of books on leadership. Not saying that I'm a good leader, because there's always more that you can learn. Once you stop learning, you stop.
Stop growing.
Yeah, but the leaders lead. and there's a video on YouTube that's a very, very, very empowering video, and it's about a bunch of people just sitting around doing nothing. One person gets up and starts dancing. Everybody's looking at this person like they're a fool. Like they're a fool because they're just dancing in the middle of this crowd where everybody's just sitting down doing nothing. Next thing you know, one person decides to join them. By the end of the video, everybody's dancing. It took that one person to get up and lead before everybody else started following. It only takes one person to stop. I'm going to put it into creators' terms. It only takes one person to show up in everybody's live stream and start supporting before everybody else starts supporting everybody else. It only takes one person to start giving their moderators benefits before everybody else has moderators and is giving them benefits. It only takes one person to stop calling people names for everybody else to get on board and stop calling people names. Vice versa, it only takes one person to start calling people names for that person to get names. We all want to follow something. We all want to, but the leaders need to lead from the front and stand up and lead. And that's something that, like, the people that will come out and do things to benefit something, the people that go into these charity auctions and do these charity auctions are leaders because they're doing something. They're bringing something. The people that are going in there and bidding every single time, that are emptying their wallets. We don't know how many people have. It looks like I'm rich, and I've got those comments before, and they piss me off, to be honest with you, because I bust my butt doing this stuff, and I put my whole life savings into this stuff. Doesn't mean I'm rich. It means I sacrifice everywhere else. I don't have nice clothes. I wear beard clothes everywhere because I don't purchase clothes, because all my money goes into my studio and putting out content and buying beard products because I like to support small batch companies. And the same with charities. I can't help myself when it comes to a charity. I will give out my life savings to help a charity. I don't care. I eat cereal because I like cereal, and I can't afford to eat steaks all the time because I eat too many, like.
Dad,
What?
Uh-oh. Imagines.
You were researching?
And then I imagine I haven't seen on my iPad before. It had FTTV.
Oh my goodness. Leaders lead. You smack your head, your kid follows. Like, and that's the thing. Like, parenting is leadership, right? Like,
yeah.
There's a leader everywhere you look, and they're either leading you in the right direction or they're leading you in the wrong direction. Which one are you going to follow? Because if you're leading and you're not standing up and doing something for the positive, you're doing something for the negative, or you're letting something happen, and you're going to have followers. People follow, and a lot of people follow the easy route. Sometimes it takes the hard route, and it takes a leader to blaze that hard route. And I think business owners are amazing people to talk to about that, because I don't know a business owner that hasn't failed. I've never seen a business owner that's picked up, created a business, and succeeded. And a lot of people, like, Banholes yesterday was even saying that, like, I've had a branch that I had to shut down, and then we had to rethink it. Like, Mark Cuban, how successful that dude is? You know how many failed businesses he had? There you go, Dave. Let's get Mark Cuban on a stream. Talk about Titan. Let's get the Shark Tanks on a stream.
Oh, that would be sick. I love Mark Cuban.
And I don't know what you're
coolest thing ever.
For. Like, I don't understand your lingo. Can you just text me with what your lingo is? Like, he'll do that all the time. He'll just be like, so, and I'll be like, I don't know what you're implying, dude. Can you just be like, I don't know. And now he's like, well, and I'm like, is it because I'm 50 minutes past the hype and I'm missing something good? Like, hour 2 is just getting ready to start. I don't know. What's up, Jared? I've literally been talking for almost 3 hours.
Dude, this has been amazing.
It has been a life experience. I mean, Tyson, I appreciate everything you said, the transparency, and I'm gonna leave this stream trying to reflect on a bunch of things. And you are an awesome father and an awesome person, and a lot of things that you have said, I hope I can put into my life and one day be as good as a father as you are, and just be a great person just like you. I mean, You're truly an inspiration, Tyson.
No, I don't want any of that. Like,
you got it. I'm sorry, I already said it. I speak what I mean, brother. I really
Matt and
do.
I literally started talking like 2 months ago, and we just hit it off. Like, we chat on Instagram, and he's a mod on my channel, and like we just have hit it off, and it's on a respect level. We respect each other, and we have, and it's just crazy, you know. And Devin and I haven't talked a whole ton, not as much as I've talked to other people or Devin's talked to other people. You know, even Tevin and I, we talked when his channel started, and you know, we'll chit chat every now and then. But I mean, out of this whole group, I talk with Matt the most out of everybody on screen, you know, and I'd really just started talking to him 2 months ago, and then, but I mean, leadership, like Matt is a strong leader in my opinion. I think Devin, you're a strong leader in so many different ways too. Like, what you've done for Defined is unbelievable. Like, just what you've done with the power of, you think you have a small YouTube channel. Ask Kerry the impact that you can have with your small YouTube channel. He'll tell you one of his busiest days in history and what 1626 is done now. It used to be his least selling cent. It's his most selling cent now. And he attributes that to you. Like, you're a leader. You're an inspiration. And Tevin, like, the things that you've done with collaborations and YouTube channels and what you're willing to go out there and do for this community, you're willing to throw spaghetti on your freaking wall for this community to make people smile. Like, you're a comedian and willing to do anything to make somebody smile, no matter what that means to yourself. And I know some of the struggles that you've gone through because we've talked about them.
Yeah.
Personally, I know some of these struggles. But the fact that you're willing to do anything to put a smile on somebody's face, that's impactful. That's leadership, because there's not a lot of people that'll do that. It's just a different way of doing it. And Ben's the same way. He puts freaking Christmas lights behind him. Christmas lights. It's freaking August.
Thank you, Aubrey.
Yeah. You know, and we all. And this is what I don't understand about the beard community, is we can all come in here and say, "Go Chiefs, go Raiders, go Patriots, go Broncos," and be like, you know. But we still are friends. But if we disagree on a beer company, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world that we disagree on a beard company or a product, but we can literally drink a beer together and talk crap about each other's football teams. Hey. So I never understood that.
I thought he was gonna throw it.
I was trying to.
Disagree on football teams. We can disagree on basketball teams, hockey teams, baseball teams, but it's not okay to disagree on beard products. Blows my mind. That just blows my mind. Like, we will literally tear each other apart for disagreeing on beard products.
That's weird, ain't it?
Right? But we're the beard community. Are you burping the alphabet?
That one was weak. That was only a 6.1.
Oh,
Yeah, take them down
6.1.
like an air conditioner. You know, like I had a sandbox and an umbrella. Yeah, Jared, you missed a really good live stream. I hope you go back and watch the whole thing. Honestly,
man, this has been great.
It's you should go back and watch the whole thing.
I feel bad for
Definitely.
going over, but then again, I don't, because there's some things that we relate on. Like when you started talking about your daughter, I started bawling because it makes me think of my daughter, because I wore the same thing, because I was picked on as a kid, and kids are mean. Kids are horrible.
Aubrey.
Kids are horrible, and it just breaks my heart because, when you started talking about your daughter, I started thinking about mine. And
when your daughter comes home and says the things that they say coming home from first grade,
I know, that's awful.
I didn't get made fun of until 5th grade. Now they're getting made fun of in 1st grade. And she's a female. She has more pressure on her. Women have more pressure than men. Let's face it. They have the beauty factor.
Yeah.
They have to look beauty. and they have to put on a certain thing, because if they don't, they're the S word, you know, and the SLUT word, you know. I don't know if I can say it. I don't know what the rules are on that.
Say it. I don't care. I mean, we're being real here. Say it.
I mean, girls don't want to be known as slutty, right? So not only do they have to look pretty so they don't get made fun of for being fat or ugly, but they can't be too pretty or too outrageous, because then they're that word. The girls have it hard.
I know. And it's only going to get worse.
And as a single dad, or even as a dad in general, as a dad with a daughter, to hear the things that you hear from a girl coming home from school, that they hear on the bus or that they see, it's ridiculous. It's funny now until you come home crying because of it.
You're beautiful, Aubrey.
Thank you. And that's like the most heartwarming thing in the world. Like, she knows, like she has seen what I've gone through, like with the divorce and just life and COVID and what it's done for me. And her whole goal, like, is to make me laugh. Like, if she does something and she's like, I made Dad laugh, and like is super pumped about that, because she's seen the way that I've been lately, you know. And like, for an 8-year-old to think about that as like her goal is to make me laugh, like, how crazy is that? Like, she's gonna grow up to be something special.
Amen, brother.
Agreed.
Yeah, she is.
I need a glass of you owe me $1.
Oh, okay. Here's
She needs more blogs.
She needs 20. She needs 20.
Keep them coming.
Give her $50. Give her 50.
$51.
51. Do I hear 52? How about $55? Give me.
And
Say
she
it in
needs
the
a
chat,
new
everyone.
rabbit.
Say it in the chat.
Give her 2 rabbits. Come on, man.
I have a lot to say about leadership. I think sometimes the best leaders lead by being quiet, and sometimes those quiet leaders need to step up and use their voice. There's a time and a place. And when you look at Martin Luther King and some of the great leaders that this country had, you can lead without being boisterous, but sometimes you need to step up and be boisterous. I don't like to be boisterous, but when we get talking about things like this and things that I'm passionate about and things that I see, like, it has been bugging me for weeks, the nickname stuff, for weeks. It's been bugging me for weeks of the way that the support in this community works. And it just came out tonight, you know, and I think it was done in a very positive and great way. But you guys are 100% right. Like, Aubrey, please. Dave, Kansas City, and I've talked a lot about him tonight, because I feel like he's one of those guys in the community that puts a lot of time and effort in, puts out great stuff. He's reaching out to a lot of people that a lot of people won't. He has communication skills, and you know, I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves, quite frankly. But I know it'll come, because he's tenacious and he doesn't give up, you know. And you know, I think Matt has an amazing idea that's gonna take off with your streams. Like, could you imagine if we got together like real soon and did a fantasy football draft on a live stream?
I'm down.
Count me in.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that you're doing the live like sports talks. We could go live every single week and pick our fantasy football like lineups for next week all together, you know? Like, there's so many things that you have that you bring to the beard game with not only your fantastic beard, but your sports knowledge, you know? And Devin's starting school and stuff. Like, I don't know what Devin's schedule is going to look like. I imagine like med school is freaking hard, and basketball and everything. Like, I just want to help Devin as much as I can to make sure he stays in the beard game, because I know how hard school and everything else is, you know. And whatever Tevin's going to do, I'm so pumped to hear about this. Like, beards or not beards, I'm going to be watching the videos.
Appreciate it.
I can't wait.
You know.
I'm excited
Okay,
to
I
see
need
the
to
next
stop because
guest.
okay, so I'm one of those people that like I can literally say the same thing 50 different ways, and if we sit here, I'm probably gonna start in on leadership again.
Hey, listen,
But I'll say it different than what I just said it.
we're gonna have you in another stream because
We
I've
need to have
enjoyed
Tyson
my.
back.
We need to like seriously, like there's no question. I mean, I don't care if you say it 5 times, but say it 5 different ways. You'll throw in something that makes it worth it in the end. Like you, Cribs, and several other people are people I would literally sit there and listen to if you had a 30-minute video. Like Cribs, me and Devin said it the other day. Like you, Cribs, are probably the only people I would ever watch a 30-minute video.
I don't even like
I could care less about mine.
Jared's saying we need to stop so he can start the stream over.
I'm sorry.
It is him to get done before 1 in the morning.
I just don't want it to end. It's so good. I mean, you've hit home. I mean, this is probably the like. I just want to give you a hug. I just want to give you and Aubrey a hug. I know it's COVID, but you know, you've showed a side that. I mean, how often do you get to talk about those kind of things, Tyson? I mean, you talk about it a little bit.
Nobody cares. Like, I mean, and it's not that nobody cares. It's just like when you don't open up. Like, I don't have close friends, right? Like, I don't have close friends, and so like getting to talk about that type of stuff, it's just everyday life stuff. It's not something that if nobody asks you to tell me your story and nobody asks you, and that's what I urge people, like ask somebody their story because you never know where somebody's been. And where we've been is determining who we are now. And if you don't ask somebody, like when you get close to somebody, like what their story is, like I want to hear Matt's story. I want to hear Tevin's story. I want to hear Devin's story. I want to hear all your stories because it helps me understand who you are today. Aubrey, hey, you're being disrespectful. I want to know who you are today and what got you there. And the only way to do that is to know where somebody's been. You know?
Exactly.
We need to do that.
Ken, I want to know Ken's story. He's lost a sister to suicide. He has a drug addicted mom, man. Like
we're getting him on here. I want to hear that.
You would never know any of that stuff from watching his videos because nobody asks. You know,
yeah.
Nobody asks. There's so many things, and you mentioned COVID, and now, and now, like that brings up a whole nother topic. Like how do you have the do I send my kid to school or do I not send my kid to school topic? If I don't send her to school, she's not getting the stimulation she needs. I can't work because if I don't send her to school, I can't teach her. I tried. I can't do it. Like she needs the classroom setting and she needs interaction from other kids. If I send her to school, I'm risking her getting sick.
Yeah.
I'm risking her bringing a sickness home to our house. If my work finds out that she has COVID, I'm laid off for 14 days. That's the single parent life. That's the any parent life. If you're in a job that you're getting paid hourly and your kid goes to school and comes home with COVID, you're done for 14 days. You're not getting paid now if you're not on salary. The struggle is real to figure out what to do. Do you protect your family but not getting sick, or do you protect your family financially?
It's a hard decision. I mean,
really
we're having it right now. Like me and the wife are talking about it right now, and it's not an easy decision.
Right.
Yeah.
All things bearded. Does anybody know?
No, I don't know who. I have no clue who that is.
I've seen him around on Instagram. I feel like if I'm thinking of the right thing.
Yeah, he's on Instagram and he's got a YouTube channel. He has not posted a video. It's coming on Sunday. Is from what I understand from his Instagram channel. So, Aubrey, I am on a live stream. Please, honey. I know you're hungry. We're getting ready to stop.
I promise we'll go try to wrap it up, Aubrey. I know both you and Tyson's stomachs are one. You know, it's never ending.
Kevin said it best. Best advice of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Wrap it up.
All right, so just I'm gonna wrap it up right here.
That's more for Devin, the college kid. Like you got to get through.
Yeah.
Did I miss something? What are you missing, Devin?
He told me just give me a little bit of life advice. You know, don't be silly, wrap the willy. That whole advice.
Yeah. Oh man.
Good one.
That's great
All right.
advice, though.
So I'm
Hey.
I'm gonna kind of end it here. This has been an amazing stream, and I can't say like amazing is probably not even the word I would use. It's been powerful. I mean, seriously, it's a moving story. And Tyson, I know it's not easy, and I thank you for sharing that those uneasy details and sharing a little bit about you. I mean, that's what I wanted. I wanted to know the guy behind Faithfully Bearded, and we don't get to talk about that much, and that's what I want to try to do to the break. I mean, we have Michael Cribbs coming on next week, and I'm excited to hear his testimony. And when you agreed to be on the show, I'm excited, and I can't wait to have you back on the show because there's just so many more questions that we could possibly ask. And I mean, we went over an hour, and I don't mind going over an hour. I apologize to Dave or whoever else wants to go to his stream, but there was just so much. I mean, I didn't want it to end, and I still don't. But hey, we're all hungry. I'm hungry. I definitely know the Walds are hungry. So seriously, Tyson, thank you for being on. Thank you, everybody that's joined, that's commented, that's shed a tear like I have. I mean, that was moving, and I can't wait to have you back, brother. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, I'll come back anytime. I appreciate you guys having me on. Love the show. Love all your channels. I just urge everybody to lead, be a leader, and support everybody. Because as one person in the community grows, the whole community grows. So there's plenty of room. There's plenty of companies that can support reviewers. Plenty of people out in the world to subscribe to your channel. So don't look at the numbers. Keep being you and lead from the front.
Thank you, Tyson. And everybody, thank you. I hope you have a blessed day. You can always reach out to any of us. I'm sure we'll be happy to help, regardless of what situation it is. And just God bless you all. Have a good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Night.